free from Henderson. Got it to Besser in front. Backhander scores. The puck back in. Campoli trying to clear it. Gerald just pressed. Got the puck loose to Edmonton. Back in for Alex. Gerald gets up in the air. And now McKinnon to the side. No! With the left glove. Are you kidding me? What a save.
Hey, Canucks Nation, Brandon Alston here, play-by-play for the Edmonton Canucks. You've got it locked in the line change, a Vancouver Canucks podcast.
What's up, Canucks Nation? Welcome to the post-game show. As you guys can see there, Canucks lose by a final score of 7-3. Actually, hang on. Why am I so bright? Here. Let me check something here. Ooh, there we go. That's better. Anyway, Canucks lose by a final score of 7-3. Not much really to talk about this game, and full transparency, I didn't even watch this game. And I will get into that a little bit later, and I will tell you why I did not watch this game, because I made the choice not to watch this game for a very specific reason, which I will also get into. But I do have the info for you guys and everything. So as you can see there, like I said, final score 7-3 for the Flames. Flames absolutely burned us in this one. We're going to take a look at the goals. So let's check that out. I actually, instead of watching the game, I ended up watching Russell Nothing is Perfect's entire stream. I thought I actually enjoyed myself a lot better. And as you can see, I'm repping my Blue Jays jersey. At least they know how to freaking win. So Blue Jays obviously 2-0 to start the season. A big walk-off, back-to-back walk-off wins. But we're here to talk about hockey. We're here to talk about them darn Knocks. So, of course, to start the game off, Calgary scores to make it 1-0. Matt Coronado, his 17th of the season at 3:04 of the first period, assisted by Zane Parekh and Morgan Frost. And then a little over a minute, almost 2 minutes later, the Flames would score again to make it 2-0. Joel Farabee would score his 17th of the season, assisted by Whitecloud and Mikael Backlund. That, of course, as I mentioned, made it 2-0 Calgary. Liam Ogren would score his 8th of the season to make it 2-1 at 18:53, assisted by Linus Karlsson and Elias Pettersson, who got his 29th assist of the season. And actually, really nice play by Pettersson. Even though I didn't watch the game, I did see the little highlights, of course, on social media. That nice little between the legs pass to Karlsson, who feeds it over to Ogren, who absolutely rips it. And that would make it 2-1 for Calgary. So the Canucks were only down by 1 at that point. That would not last very long, as a minute and 32 seconds into the second period, Ryan Strome would score his 6th of the season, assisted by Olli Mata and Igor Sharangovich. That made it 3-1 for Calgary, and then Mata himself would score his 2nd of the season, assisted by Strome and Brustevich at 4:36. That made it 4-1 Calgary, and that meant the old yank for Tolopilo. Tolopilo would be pulled after that goal, and don't worry, I'm going to talk about Tolopilo a little bit later myself. Obviously, I will admit I did see Rain's comment earlier. I did not like, Tolo being pulled, but at the same time, what do you expect when a guy hasn't played for 2 fucking weeks? He's been sitting on the bench for 2 weeks and he's cold. And he had a bad game. Defense wasn't much better in front of him either. But moving on, Morgan Frost would score his 18th of the season to make it 5-1 Calgary at 4:47 of the second period, assisted by Coronado and Gradin. And then Jake DeBrusk. Now, originally this goal was credited to Brock Besser, but they changed it because I guess DeBrusk managed to tip it in, assisted by Besser and Pettersson. So Pettersson gets to 30 assists on the season, 21st assist of the season for Brock Besser. This was at 13:36 of the second period. This, of course, made it 5-2. And then Zane Parekh would score his 2nd of the season on the power play. I also forgot to mention that Jake DeBrusk's goal was on the power play. So once again, DeBrusk scores yet another power play goal. But moving back down to Parak, second of the season, assisted by Coronado and Frost at 19:23 of the second period. That made it 6-2 Calgary. Then moving to the third period, Niels Höglander would score his second of the season. We've been doing a lot of talking about Höglander as of late and how he needs to be playing. He should be playing more to boost that confidence. He scores his second of the season, assisted by Mancini and Zebuyam at 12:40 of the third period. That made it 6-3. And then, of course, Adam Klapka would score his sixth of the season on the power play at 19:52. So about 10 seconds left in this game, assisted by Othman and Brustevich. That of course sealed the deal, and it ended up being 7-3. But I want to talk a little bit about that Höglander goal. Lots of discourse about Höglander and how he was only getting about 5 minutes of ice time. We'll obviously get into the ice time in a little bit, but yeah, he was getting 5 minutes, and hopefully this goal helps. And Alfred, I just saw your comment. I'm glad you just said that, but hopefully this goal helps with that confidence. Although knowing Foot, he's probably going to bench him again and have him be a healthy scratch. But hopefully this goal helps him with that confidence. As I imagine, Höglander was probably over the moon for finally potting one. So hopefully that helps for his confidence moving forward. But moving over to the game stats, we've got Canucks with 34 shots on goal at the end of 60 minutes. Calgary with 23. And then the Canucks were a 45.9% on the faceoff, so 28 for 61. Flames slightly better, 54.1% with 33 out of 61. So once again, not that great of a night on faceoffs for the Canucks, but at least they were better than they were in the last game. Power play percentage, 66.7% for the Flames. They were 2 for 3, and the Canucks had a 25% on the power play. They went 1 for 4. Hits were 32-18 in favor of the Canucks. Canucks also had more block shots, 12 to Calgary's 11. Giveaways were 21-19 in favor of the Flames. And no, that's not a good thing. But takeaways were 8-5 in favor of the Canucks. So the Canucks doing quite a bit of takeaways in this one. Looking at the shots on goal per period, Canucks finally hit that 10, double digits shots in a single period. Finally, with 10 in the first, they outshot the Flames 10-7 in the first period, and then 14-9 in the second period. So once again, they hit double digit shots in each period of this game, something they haven't done in gosh knows how long. Outshot the Flames 14-9 in the second and 10-7 in the third. Again, final shots were 34-23. Moving over to the player stats. So here we go. Brock Besser with an assist, a -1, 22 minutes and 34 seconds of ice time, 4 shots on goal. Drew O'Connor, a -1, 17 minutes and 9 seconds of ice time with 2 shots and 3 hits. Niels Höglander with the goal. He was a +1. So he ends up finishing with 7 minutes and 42 seconds of ice time in this one with 1 shot. Of course, that 1 shot, he made it count. Elias Pettersson, 2 assists. So another 2-point game for Petey, 19 minutes and 17 seconds of ice time with 3 shots, 1 block, 1 hit. Curtis Douglas, 6 minutes and 30 seconds of ice time with 2 hits. And he also had a fight in this one. So we finally saw Curtis Douglas drop the gloves. So that was obviously a little bit exciting to see. I mean, I didn't see the fight. But Teddy Bluger at -2, 14 minutes and 44 seconds of ice time, 4 shots, 2 hits. Atu Ratu, 11 minutes and 50 seconds of ice time, 1 shot, 2 hits. Jake DeBrusk, a goal. He was a -2, 13 minutes and 24 seconds of ice time, 3 shots, 3 hits. Evander Kane, -2, 13 minutes and 19 seconds of ice time, 4 shots, 3 hits. Liam Ogren with the goal, -1, 17 minutes and 51 seconds of ice time, 4 shots, 1 block. Marco Rossi, a -1, 18 minutes and 27 seconds of ice time with 4 hits. Linus Karlsson with an assist, 18 minutes and 5 seconds of ice time, 1 shot, 1 hit. So a big increase in ice time for Linus Karlsson. That's what happens when you get bumped up to the first line. And of course, we'll go over the lines, and because they switched them around. They ended up breaking up the Bro line, at least the original one. They still had a bit of a Bro line here tonight, but with different players on it. And then let's take a look at the defense. Tom Verlander, a -1, 18 minutes and 10 seconds of ice time, 2 shots, 2 blocks, 5 hits. P.O. Joseph, who was in the lineup here tonight, 15 minutes and 2 seconds of ice time with 1 block, 2 hits. Philip Hronek, who was a -3 in this one. I do know he was a -2 to start the game, or at the very start of the game after Calgary went up 2-0. 26 minutes and 13 seconds of ice time, 1 shot, 2 blocks, 2 hits. Z Buyam, who was a -1. He did have an assist in this one. 23 minutes and 57 seconds of ice time, 1 shot, 1 block, 1 hit. Marcus Pettersson, a -2, 17 minutes and 57 seconds of ice time, 2 blocks, 1 hit. So Buyam getting more ice time than Marcus Pettersson. Obviously, Buyam was on that top unit with Philip Hronek. And Victor Mancini, 1 assist, 16 minutes of ice time with 3 shots, 2 blocks, and 2 hits. Obviously, looking at the goaltending, not that great at all. Actually, screw saying not great. It was terrible for both of them. Kevin Lankinen, 3 goals on 12 shots, 750 save percentage. Nikita Tolopilo, my boy, 4 goals on 11 shots, only 7 saves for Tolopilo, and a .636 save percentage. Yes, Tolopilo did not have a good game, but as I mentioned, off the top, he hasn't played in 2 weeks. So you got to give him a little bit of leash there. He hasn't played in over 2 weeks. Lankinen was playing all those games, but definitely not a great game. Again, I can't comment on how the defense was because I didn't actually watch the game. But definitely not good for Tolopilo tonight, or Lankinen, who, by the way, let in the first shot that he faced. So at least Tolopilo didn't do that. That's all I'll say about that. But that was pretty much the game. I mentioned earlier how I didn't watch it, and I mentioned that there's a reason for that. So I know G and I are probably going to get into that for sure. It's probably going to be a big talking point for tonight, since there's not much really to talk about in regards to the game. So, G, whenever I see you backstage, whenever you're ready, you can hop on whenever you want, and we can get into the nitty-gritty stuff. So, yeah, I'll let G keep getting ready. I'll get into, I'll keep getting into the comments. Let's switch this over.
What's going
And I don't know
on,
if you
guys?
guys noticed, but there's a new little addition.
Yeah, I saw
up
some
here
of
at
the
the top.
messages, and I was just like, yeah, I should jump on.
There's a little updated thing up at the top. Justice for Bagsy. Right up there, up at the top with a little salute. So we'll, and if you're probably wondering, what is that? What does that mean? Well, if you haven't heard, obviously you guys know who Trevor Beggs is. He's been on the podcast before. He's a good friend of the podcast. And if you didn't know, on Thursday night, he was kicked out of Rogers Arena and had his press pass revoked because he wrote an article on the Daily Hive talking about Francesco Aquilini and his there's something going on with his vineyard. I haven't looked too much into the actual story itself because the Daily Hive removed the story from their website. So something about, as far as I know, something about immigrants or something along those lines.
You can actually see it on the prompts. There's another.
I didn't actually see the article on Daily Hive, no. but I've looked into it. I believe PJ wrote an article about it. He also wrote
It
an
got
article.
off like immediately after Begsy left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you look, PJ has an article on it, and also if you look into, if you just Google Aquilini, U.S. Criminal or U.S. Give me a sec. I'll find out exactly what it was that I looked up. U.S. criminal case. So if you search up Aquilini named in U.S. criminal case, you'll be able to find the article or a article.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler, you there?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, so it has to do with a company called run under the Aquilini family, and the allegations is them forcing and work in extreme heat without properly safe precautions. I think in the article somewhere it also says about like making the actual minimum. Another thing is, from what I remember reading, was there were a lot of please go check the article, but from what I remember reading was it was immigrants from Mexico that came up to work, and the papers it wasn't done properly. We'll leave it that way. But if you want more information about the article, just go Google it. Daily Hive, like Tyler was saying, is taking it off. I talked to Begsy today, and he's okay with it. Like, he's, it's near the end of the season. He got to take his mom to work. Pretty much, I think it was 24 hours before he was kicked out at the first intermission. And at least he got to do that, right? And it was I believe what he said was it was his parents that got him into hockey, so it was very, like, it was sentimental in a way that he was able to bring his mom to work at Rogers Arena for the practice, so he's happy that happened. But everything else, he says, we'll see what happens, just let it be. So
I haven't had a chance to reach out to him yet, but obviously, if you've noticed me on social media, I'm pretty fired up about it, just because I consider Begsy a really good friend, and I think that's trash. How they treated him, and apparently they made a big deal out of it. Like removing him from the building. They caused a scene. So as if I think one person said to kind of send a message to other reporters.
No, because the last time something like this, nothing like this has ever happened before. And honestly, if we're talking about it right now, other media outlets are going to be talking about it. And I think this is going to backfire against CSE. I mean, I've been talking great about CSE the last couple of days because of, my experience, right? But I don't like it because I think Trevor is such a great guy, and if you didn't like the article, maybe just reach out and be like, hey, maybe retract it or do something about it. Like, you don't make it a scene and just kick him out of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like J-Pat, J-Pat was just got his passes taken away. He wasn't even kicked out mid-game, right?
No.
Like, it would have been better. Like, if you knew about this, then maybe before he got into the building, be like, hey, we're going to need your pass, and you can't come in tonight, and just leave it at that. It wouldn't have caused such a big scene, right? Yeah. So I would really have to say that in terms of, well, ownership's probably not going to be watching our stream.
Mm.
And B, it's management and ownership that need to be accountable for something like this. It's like posts on social media for justice for Begsy, I think it's going to be, they're going to go out of the water because they don't understand what is doing for Vancouver media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just seems like it's a dictatorship of some sort. Like, if you don't agree with the company, you're out of here. Kind of like, our friend who's in the job right now, he's in the job because of, talking about thinking or talking about how the team, should keep losing to get a better draft pick and it's for the future. Like, these opinions should be valid. Like, this is a team that the city is backing. I mean, right now there's obviously, the women's team, the Golden Eyes, and we also have the Whitecaps. The season's just starting, and there's other options. Last night on Headspace Hockey, we spoke to Kirby from Cats and Rats, and in Florida, especially in like Miami, there's many options, right? And the buildings are never going to be sold out unless they're doing well, make it to playoffs, make it to the finals, et cetera, right? But how the ownership right now is taking it to a point, like there's another take that there's a fellow named Mike that I met at the Ultimate Experience, which I don't want to say too much, but I see, actually, no, what he said is entirely different. Like, it's a different thing on management. But in terms of the team itself, there are rumblings that the Aquilini could sell the Canucks. I said this, I don't know if I said it on the stream last night, but I was talking to Irvin about it for sure. And the only condition is the Aquilinis get to keep Rogers Arena.
Yeah.
They'll sell the team, but Rogers Arena is not included.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that just tells everyone that they're just about the money. They don't care about anything else. They don't care about the fans. The letter that came out at the beginning of the week also didn't care about this loyalty. There's members, season ticket members that have been there for over 20 years that have been backing this team through all the ups and downs and dark times and Messier eras and Keenan and everything, right? And you guys continue to increase your prices for these loyal fans. They don't see you as loyal fans. They see you as a dollar. It's how I see it. I have high school friends that had season tickets right out of the gate. Like, they got out of high school, had some money, and they went and shared seasons or ended up getting seasons on their own. And these have been season ticket holders since like the early 2000s. And they're for renewing. David Stein, another a guy in the community. Well, he's not in this community, but he is the #1 man cave in Vancouver for Canucks fans, and he's been on the news, all that. I spoke to him a couple of days ago, and he was talking to people, about 10 to 15 people, and he said about 10 of them aren't renewing. And with this Begsy incident, like, it's just another, like, another cut, another more salt on the wound, and telling people, yeah, it's our way or the highway, and that's just not right at all.
Exactly.
So,
sorry, you were freezing a little bit there when you were talking.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I did manage to catch your guys' stream with Kirby. Absolutely loved a lot of the stuff he was saying. I actually subscribed to Cats and Rats and followed him on social media and stuff like that. Maybe I might try and get him on at some point, because I just loved a lot of his takes and some of the stuff he was saying. So yeah, that was great stuff by you and Urban last night. But you know, this whole thing with Beggs, like, it just bothers me, like to the point where I didn't actually watch the freaking game. Like I stayed true to my word earlier, you know, that I was, you know, contemplating boycotting the game because of this, and I actually followed through with that. I didn't watch it. I just watched, you know, Russell's stream just so I could get some sort of like insight into the game. But yeah, like it's blows my mind. I mean, that again, we shouldn't really be surprised. This is Aquilini we're talking about. We know he's shady, but and then I think this part bothers me the most, but I also understand it too. Because we mentioned PJ wrote an article about this. I don't see his pass being revoked. Then again, he is a senior reporter. He's been there a very long time. So he's got, you know, experience over Begsy. And they're probably not going to do that to PJ because he works for the province. But so you target a junior reporter who's in his first year covering the team. You target him to send a message? Absolute bullshit, in my opinion. Oh, I think we just lost G there. So, but yeah. Anyway, I think it's bullshit. I know G mentioned earlier something about, you know, Aquilini or ownership probably not watching this. Hey, even if they were watching this, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You can't fucking censor me. Like, no. I mean, even if management, PR, whatever sees us, I don't give a shit. No, this is my platform. I can freedom of speech. You know, if I think you guys are being stupid, I'm gonna tell you guys are being fucking stupid. So, and I think this is really stupid. This is gonna, like Gerald said, I think it's gonna backfire on them. And you know, hopefully, Begsy does get his pass returned to him, and he can, you know, here. Let me just go back to here. So yeah, hopefully he does get his pass back eventually. But you know, because of them doing this, you've now caused a story. Like, this has become a story now because of actions that you did. I know I've seen some people on social media going like, "Oh, you know, actions have consequences." Blah 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. I mean, you're not wrong. Actions do have consequences, but at the same time, there's people out there that are going like, "It's not Canucks news. It's not Canucks news." Begsy is a fucking journalist. This is what journalists do. They write stories. Like, at the end of the day, yes, he does Canucks. He's a Canucks reporter, but he's also a journalist. And what do? They write fucking stories. This was a story. He did his fucking job. So with that whole like, oh, it's not Canucks news, fuck off. You know, you have no idea what you're talking about. So I told you guys I was going to be a little unhinged, and like I said, this really pisses me off because as I said already, Begsy is a friend. You know, he's got he's got a young family. Yes, he still works for the Daily Have. He didn't lose his job. He just can't go to Canucks games for free anymore. But you know, this is just absolute bullshit on the part of the Canucks. After we've already had a terrible season, you know, this is more salt in the wound, and it pisses me off. So that's why we're kind of talking about this, because it's gaining a lot of traction. Like, even PJ wrote an article about Begsy getting kicked out. Like, originally PJ wrote an article on the exact same thing that Trevor did, and then he wrote an article about the fact that Trevor got kicked out. You know, during a game. It wasn't. It's like what Gerald said earlier. It wasn't during or before the game. It was after the first period. They let him sit there for the first period, and then kicked him out, caused the scene, and took away his press pass. That has never been done before. They haven't been kicked out during the game. It's been, you know, usually probably like before, whatnot. But it's just crazy, absolutely freaking crazy. But yeah,
Sorry, guys, I had to restart. The internet was a little wonky.
All good, buddy. All
You
good.
know, Tyler and I are up in the mountains, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all good. Yeah,
But
mine's been a little
I've been listening to
shady
it.
today. But well, I was about to say, did you miss my little tirade I kind of just went on?
No, I was watching on my phone, so like I heard about it, and yeah, I think it's a little different in a sense that Daily Hive is not as big as Post Media because of the Province,
Yeah.
Vancouver Sun, PJ works for them, right?
Mhm.
And I don't
Yeah.
think they dare do something like that.
Oh no, I don't
So
think
they had
they
to
have the
go after
balls to
someone.
do it. Yeah, they don't have the balls to do
They
that.
had to go after someone, and it was Begsy. So like it's
Yeah.
just unfortunate that he was the one that was used as an example. Um,
Mhm.
and it's just ridiculous. Like I'm happy for him in a sense that, oh my god, I'm freezing again, aren't I? Am I freezing again?
Yeah.
Don't know what the hell's happening. Okay. I'm happy for him that he got on Locked On yesterday and explained
Mhm.
everything before anything anyone else did it. So him and Kyle went on. I watched the stream like even before. So I saw it. We had, I think it was Callum who was talking about it on Headspace in the chat. We didn't really want to
Mhm.
comment on it at that time, especially since I didn't talk to Begsy before then. And out of respect, I didn't want to say anything. But you know, his video with Kyle came out. It's great. It's going all over through socials, X, even
Mhm.
Taj reposted it.
Yeah.
Russell and Dusty were talking about it. So
Mhm.
it's great. I
Yeah.
sent him a message again today, and I was just like, you know, we have your back. We're all here to
Yeah.
support you. You
Yeah.
know, justice for Begsy is going to start trending, and they'll
Yeah.
know that, you know, this means more than just any, you know, beat writer or
Yeah.
Canucks writer. That's, you know, like this has something has to be done.
Mhm. And yeah, I saw I see Irvin's comment, wind up the Justin Credible train. Yeah, I mean, Justin, if you want to come on and vent, I'll bring Justin on because Justin and I are probably just as like we're both like the same level of pissed off about this. So yeah, if Justin wants to come on, I'll bring Justin on and he can vent. Um, but yeah, just a terrible
So just
situation.
I don't know what's gonna happen from now until Thursday. So there's a good 4-5 days. But like last night, what I was saying on Headspace, the mediator next week is supposed to be Begsy, and we're definitely going to give him time to talk about it if he wants to, or I don't know if he still wants. Like
Mhm.
he said straight up, he's going to be a Canucks fan, you know, till the day, and he's going to write about it until the last day.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure he's still going to be good for it, and
Mhm.
hopefully, you know, we'll be one of the first people to interview Begsy after the situation if he doesn't have other people reaching out and doing it, like maybe PJ or bigger medias. But
Mhm.
for YouTube, I think we're gonna be hopefully the first ones to talk to Begsy on the stream live.
Mhm.
And I think even on our socials, we're gonna try to post something for him, even though it's gonna go against the big kahuna like
Mhm.
Aquaman and the family, but I think it's something that needs to be voiced and it
Yeah,
has to be done. I mean, how long did it take J-Pat to get his passes back?
I
It
can't
took him
remember
over a
exactly.
year. Yeah.
Really?
It's not even
Shit.
the point of having the passes back or not. It's you have this guy that has been pumping out, you know,
Yeah.
articles for the Canucks. And this is for your brand. This is for people that follow the Canucks, that are fans
Mhm.
of the Canucks. He's a source that people go to. I have people in
Yeah.
Hong Kong that share links of Beggsy's articles, and it's like, what is this team doing to this? Like, he's still gonna keep writing it, but the fact that they took away the passes that for him to go into the arena, do his research or lines, talk to the players, talk to, like, that's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our venting stream today for Beggsy.
All because Aquilini didn't like his article. Well, boo fucking who? Don't do stupid shit then, you dumbass. If you don't want people writing about you, don't do stupid shit. Fucking, it's pretty standard, pretty simple. Don't be shady.
Yeah, I have another thing that I just saw Rain put. If ownership can't even acknowledge how terrible the season went in their season ticket holder release letter, I'm not expecting them to respond in any way, shape, or form with regards to Beggsy. Yeah, I know, but the thing is, I think in terms of the season ticket members are not gonna lash out. I mean, I'm one of them that have. I've talked to my rep already, but it's not enough on social media to give them pressure. If we have a hashtag for this and it keeps going, Canucks PR is gonna see this and they're gonna be like, "Oh, wow, how are we gonna fix this?" That's how it's different than the season ticket holder thing.
Yeah.
And of course, Justin, me need to voice and make it loud. I have DMs and replies from people telling me not to bite the hand that feeds me, and it just gets me fired up that these defenders can vouch for Aqua. Yeah,
these people need to shut the fuck up. Bite the hands it feeds. Fuck off. Like, I've seen that on social media too. It's like, shut up.
Like, even like on the Taj post on X, I saw there was this troll. I wanted to reply, but I thought I don't want to put myself in that situation and give them, the fuel.
Yeah.
But this guy was saying, "Oh yeah, is Beggsy gonna cry? So like JPAT just so he can get his pass back?" No, he's not gonna cry. It's because we, the people that follow Beggsy, appreciate his articles, and we're gonna fight for him. He doesn't have to do shit. To be honest, he could care less. He'll still write about it, but it's not like he depends on the passes. It'd just be nice to have the passes to talk to and the access to the players and all that. But whoever that is, I'm not going to name that person. Stop being a fucking troll. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have anything better to do, just like go focus on something else. Focus on yourself. Upgrade yourself. Like, do something useful instead of like trolling on Beggsy. Like, this is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, and Beggsy hasn't said anything on social media at all about it. He talked about it a little bit on Locked On Canucks. I'll admit, when I first saw like some people talking about it, I didn't think it was legit. And then I actually watched that episode of Locked On, at least the audio version of him like touching on it briefly, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually like freaking real. Because they're like. I'll straight up say, I know you mentioned Taj. I'm not a big fan of Taj.
So I know.
I don't pay attention to his stuff. And that's kind of where I saw it. I was like, oh, Taj is posting it, so it's probably not true. But then I saw the actual episode from Locked On and Trevor talked about it, and that's when I was like, oh, fuck. Like, this is legit. Like, what the fuck? Like, this is crap. So...
Yeah, if you guys don't want to go through the whole episode, it's the last episode on Locked On Canucks. It is at the 29-minute mark. It's exactly what I sent to Irvin last night. So if you guys want to check it out, like, that's the whole thing, and he'll explain about it and all of that. Just if you guys can, just show some support. I mean, we're like, Tyler has, 2K here, and people that come on that rewatch this or are watching this live, if you're here, show some support for Beggsy. We'll do the same on Headspace. I think Irvin will be fine with with me saying this because it's another situation that has to do with A, the Canucks, B, hockey, and C, just mental health of things. And it's just like you got to break it down. Like Beggsy's right now, I don't think he's replying many messages. He hasn't been on socials, and even the messages that I've sent him, it took him a bit to reply. So he's, I mean, don't go bombing his DMs.
Yeah.
I mean, you can leave comments on Locked On, or yeah, on the post and stuff, but like just don't go bomb him because he's going through a lot, and it's just give him some time. Seriously, give him some time.
Yeah, that's why I haven't reached out to him just yet. I'm gonna give him some space. And Duo is asking who's Taj. He's someone who's on X who thinks he's a reporter, but he's actually not. He's always like quote tweeting like Dolly stuff and Dolly reports, thinking he's a reporter, and that's all I'll say about him.
Tyler, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Taj is like Taj has a following. Also, I know some of his stuff is sketchy or just might not be everyone's cup of tea, but we shouldn't talk bad about people that is also a Canucks fan, a Louis fan, a Lakers fan. But yeah, just take everything, like whatever you read, do your own fact checks. Instead of like listening to people, like don't even listen to us and say that we said this and we're not credible, but at least we will go and fact check stuff before we actually say most of it, and I think you should do the same. So don't just listen to us, listen to yourselves. Like if you read something it doesn't seem right, go fact check it and then have your own opinions.
Yeah, that's why I always try and make sure I have sources, nor do I really say like I'm I know everything, because I'm not a reporter. I'm just a fan who loves this team despite the game today and what they did to Begsy. But yeah,
no, the game was okay.
Hopefully,
I watched the game.
Yeah, there was some bright spots. Oh no, don't worry about it. There were some bright spots. Obviously, I like I kind of touched on earlier. I did like that between the legs pass by PD. Thought that was pretty great. I saw the highlight from that. Obviously, they had that new top line, the Swedish touch. Finally, Foot actually did it, and it led to a goal for Ogren. So hopefully, this isn't just a one night only Swedish touch. So
that doesn't sound very good, but
anyways. I
know. I was on Russ Nothing's Perfect on their stream, as was Irvin and some of you all. I right after the goal I commented, I was like, yeah, it was such a nice like tic-tac-toe. Well, not really a tic-tac-toe, but like that line. PD with the backhand to Carlson rushing down and seeing Ogren and just sliding it through. That was great. And I said, finally, they put together a Swede line. We got some Swedish touch, and I put Tyler should like it.
Yeah. I when he was going over the lines at the start of the stream, I was like, wait, what? So I originally put out, who was it? Ogren, PD, Carlson, and then I put, because he didn't actually say who the actual line was. He just said that it was an all Swede line. So I was like, what is it? Ogren, PD, Carlson, or is it Ogren, PD, Höglander? So obviously they went with Carlson and Ogren, which is totally fine. Just totally fine. But I guess, I kind of touched on it earlier talking about the game, but Höglander scored. which is great. Great to see. Great for his confidence. I think hopefully this boosts it. I mentioned that earlier. But also he had like, what was it, 6 minutes and 46 seconds of ice time in this one. So just over 5 minutes of ice time. And he still managed to get a goal at the very end there. And as Irvin, they made a new Broline 2.0. So while they broke up the original Broline, they inserted a new Broline, which I guess is Besser, Rossi, O'Connor.
It's not as I mean, it worked out okay. But obviously they need some time to get some chemistry going. I actually do enjoy that line, mainly because I want Ogren to wing PD and whoever. Like Carlson would have been the best sort of. Well, it would have to be Carlson because Carlson's the right wing, right? So it's either Hoglander, PD, and Carlson, or Ogren. So, and then Hogs, got a goal today. So it's fine. Like, I think what's going on right now is good for the team. At least they're trying to build more chemistry lines. We're at a point where this 4-game road trip really doesn't mean anything. And the teams that they're going to be facing, this was the only game that they could have potentially won, which obviously was blown out, as you can see, 7-3. But next, I think they have Colorado, and then they have, I can't remember if it's Utah but I just know I think they end up in Vegas and then come back. Or it could be Vegas and then Utah coming back. Let's double check.
It's Vegas next on Monday because that's Kane's 1,000th game. Unless they scratch him, and I mean, before anyone like chews my head off about them scratching Kane, if they really want to, because there was talk about him reaching the goal on the road and then doing something when they got back home. Why don't you just scratch him until you're back home so he can hit his 1,000 games at home? And then it's a bit of a big, more special thing for him. And that's not a knock on Kane at all. You still got 10 more games to go. You can afford to sit him for 1 or 2 games, and he can still hit his 1,000 on home ice.
Yeah. Well, we better be careful what we say because, Kane's like, the Kane family and the Aquilinis are very tight, right? So better be careful what you say, Tyler.
I'm quaking in my boots, or I should say my slippers.
Yeah, because
I just sent Justin a link. Well, Justin already had the link, so I told Justin, hop on whenever you want to. So.
Hey, we got Nick in the house.
What's up, Nick? Just because I know Justin's got a lot to get off his chest, so I want to give him the platform to do so.
And you know what? For some odd feeling, I think that Irvin might even come on, but we'll see. It's 11:30. He'll probably have to join us, in the hallway or on the patio or something like that. But dude, last night or that last the last show that we did with Justin, I wanted Irvin to come on, but he fell asleep. So hopefully he can jump on.
What if we get bags from the team store and cut out eyes and mouths?
That's terrible, man.
I mean, we're still forking out money. We're still putting money in the machine, or that's still part of the machine if we go buy bags from the team store.
I have tons of them if you guys want it. I have one right here. Oh, but okay, this is Nick.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good. But thanks for coming on and joining us here. We appreciate it. Blackhawks.
Yeah, I guess I kind of took a bit of a break from hockey tonight, not watching the game. I watched the Blue Jays game. That was more exciting.
Well, the season's officially started.
End,
what do you think?
I mean, we're 2-0 to start the season. I mean, it was a little scary in this one because went to like what 11 innings.
Yeah.
I forget exactly which inning it was, but they were playing the A's, which is the team in Vegas, formerly the Oakland Athletics, now the Vegas Athletics, or I don't even think they have Vegas in their name yet, because they're still, I think, building the stadium. But I forget which inning it was, but
oh damn,
the A's hit a grand slam and they were winning like 6-2. And then the Jays managed to tie it up, so that was exciting. So I know it's only 2
aside
games
from baseball,
into the season, but 2-0.
It's 2 games, but looks strong so far. But aside from baseball, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, their starting pitching is great. You know, I know we're kind of drifting off topic a little bit, but opening day game, Gosman, who was their opening day starter, freaking racked up 11 strikeouts. The pitcher who pitched today was one of their newest pitchers, Dylan Cease. And, you know, you think my mustache is big. You should see this guy's mustache. He's got a full on, and he's got long hair too. But he pitched, he racked up 12 strikeouts in this game. So just think about that for a second. First game, 11 strikeouts by the starter. Second game, 12 strikeouts. This starting pitching is looking really good to start off the season. And we still got, 3 more starting pitchers we got one more to make his debut for the Blue Jays, someone else that we acquired in the offseason. And he's been a strikeout machine, especially in spring training. So I'm really excited for this season, for sure.
Yeah. Do you see? So A's from Sacramento right now.
Playing in Sacramento. Yeah, because they're playing at a minor league field right now.
But it's what I was gonna say was Vegas is heating it up. Like they're just turning up the heat. They got so they have the baseball team. They had the hockey team, baseball team now, and NBA is gonna be in Vegas really soon.
Yeah, and they have the Raiders as well.
And the Raiders, yeah. So it's gonna be very interesting in Vegas. They're trying to be they're dipping their foot everywhere, diversifying everything. Which, the Canucks, Vancouver should look into doing that. Like, I'm not necessarily saying like we need an NFL team, but definitely a basketball team, just for a bit of friendly competition between sports, for the mental health of everyone in Vancouver, is to have something else that they can focus on rather than just the Canucks, because the next couple of years are going to be tough.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the video I did talking about the Ducks, and how, it took them 7 years to get to where they are now. And that the Canucks should follow that blueprint. Not that I'm saying do a 7-year rebuild, because I'm not fucking saying doing that. Maybe take that 7 years and condense it into 5. Try and do it in 5 years instead of 7. But take a lot of what they did and apply it. They, replenish their farm through the draft by having so many draft picks, getting a bunch of young players like your Leo Carlsons, your Beckett Senecas and whatnot, Mason McTavish. They picked, in the top 3 out of the last 4 years. So that is how they got the team that they have now. So I figured Canucks should follow that formula because it works. Or it's worked for the Ducks. So Yeah, if you guys
Okay,
haven't checked that
I
video,
know
go ahead
Justin's
and
in.
check that out.
I agree somewhat. Okay, this is the last point before we pull Justin in because Justin's been sitting backstage for a few minutes already. It's these trades that kind of piss me off. I think I was looking at it might have been Lego. So Geo, he did a video. I clicked into it, looked on it, and since Nick is here, yeah, Vancouver did them a huge solid when, you know, we gave them Mikheyev and Sam Lafferty and a second for a fourth. And that second, if the Canucks are on the same sort of trajectory as this year, that's going to be a very high second round pick. The Canucks got a second from the Sharks, but they lost their own. So if the Canucks do follow that so-called blueprint of the Ducks, and I've been banging on this drum since 2-3 days ago about Lankinen and all that, and he came in today. Yeah, he let in that first shot in the goal. Like he just got in. So I mean, I'll give that one to him. Like he wasn't even ready. He wasn't set. But they're playing him a lot more. And I'm gonna help you out. Like Tolopio hasn't played in a while, so ease off him. I know Tyler's really pissed off at some of the comments. But you know, hopefully Lankinen gets traded at the draft. I think it was either Fangirl or Taylor Betts trying to say like next trade deadline or whatever it is. No, it would be this trade deadline, or sorry, this draft. If they can somehow get an extra pick in the first round, go do it. Like knowing this management, they're going to be aggressive, trying to shorten the rebuild as short as possible. If that's the case, go for it. Like it's a deep draft. If you can somehow land yourself an extra first or even a high second, then go for it. And solve that three-headed goalie situation. Then, you know, it could be faster. It could be 3 years. And if it's 3 years, like I'm all for it. But the problem is you gotta asset manage those picks. They have a lot of 6 rounds, 7 rounds in the coming years, but it's the first seconds, maybe even the thirds that you really need. So, but without further ado, let's bring on Justin and let him vent a little bit on what's going on the last few days.
Hey guys, how you doing? Buddy? How you guys doing?
Good. You?
Oh man,
what's in your mind?
Doing all right.
New day, same old bullshit. You know, from this organization, it's just nothing changes. You know, been listening to what you guys have been talking about. You know, just recapping the game and everything, and another blow lost. You know, but it is what it is. You know, this team is clearly tanking and not very good, and won't be very good for years to come. But you know, you guys were talking about the length of the rebuild, and hopefully we can condense it to at least, you know, 4 or 5 year process to be realistic, because 1 top draft pick, 2 top draft picks aren't going to make a difference right now. New coach isn't going to really be helping us anytime soon. And if it was a competent organization, you know, we can be hopeful that this rebuild can be done in as fast as 3 years. But as a passionate Canucks fan, you know, I just don't see that happening, no matter how optimistic you may be. And I still think that we're looking at about a 5 or 6 year, at best, turnaround for this team to be back in the playoff picture and be a perennial contender. But besides the point, you know, blow loss. I didn't really like the way our defensemen really stood up tonight for Tolopilo. Again, it speaks on the culture of the team. You know, you have a young goaltender that's trying to develop, a guy that hasn't played in like 2 weeks. And what do? You leave him out to dry, you know. And Tolo did have a bad game. I'm not going to say that, but I'm not going to blame it on him whatsoever. The guy hasn't played in 2 weeks. You know, what do you expect? The guy's ice cold. And what's worse is, you know, the guys are making it way too easy for Calgary to just get prime scoring chances on you. So it is what it is. And I just think Calgary played a much more complete game tonight. Both teams were obviously are where they are in the standings, but you would have expected to see a little bit more pride from the Canucks. You know, stand up for one another. I like Douglas's game. You know, he was trying to make something happen. He got into a fight, almost got his first goal, and that would have been nice to see. Got called off. The goalie interference call, you know, yeah, okay, I can see why it got called back. You know, Mancini did kind of guide the guy in, and it was clearly a goaltender interference, but it was probably the more.
The guy was fighting for the puck, though.
Yeah, I do get
It
that.
wasn't like a deliberate, like, I'm gonna like cross check you into your
They
goal.
were battling. They were battling. But when I
Like,
did look at, I thought it should have counted at first too. And then after they showed the replay like 3-4 times, I did see, you know, Mancini was the guy that initiated the contact of the Calgary defender into Wolf, right? But it is what it is. You know, I thought it was one of the, you know, with the controversies of goaltender interference and what is goaltender interference in this league, you know, that was probably one of the fastest decisions because it was so clear cut. And they were saying, you know, hopefully that consistency on goaltender interference calls becomes a lot more consistent league wide because teams don't really know what constitutes goaltender interference, right? So Pedersen, you guys know how I feel about Pedersen, but at the same time, I thought he had some very dynamic plays tonight. I'll give him credit for that. Very nifty between the legs pass. And, you know, I thought he definitely showed some chemistry with his line mates. So full props on Pedersen for that. Now, as much as we can criticize Pedersen on, you know, his consistency the last few years, he's on pace for the exact same points in the same amount of games as he got last year. So at least he's consistent that way, right? So hopefully he'll eclipse that by the end of the year. But yeah, off the ice, you guys know how I felt. You guys know I don't know Begsy as much as well as you guys know him, but I was so pissed off when I saw that. And I was just like saying, you know, it's just common decency of how you treat people. And time again, this is not the way you manage a situation like this. If you're a multi-billionaire owner of an organization, this is something that I've made known on here and on podcasts before, that when Aquilini owns the Canucks, you don't just own the team. You know, you are entrusted with the stewardship of the fan base and the fans and the communities that make up this province. Entrust you to handle this entity that is the Canucks in good trust that you're going to steward it well. Have they done that? You know, time and time again, every year. It's not just this story. It's not just with Begsy and how they treat, you know, media in general, and with all the off-court scandals, you know, not just even with the immigrant workers from Mexico, this supposedly story, whether the facts are true or whether it's been proven or not, that's besides the point. This isn't a one-off with the Aquilinis. There's been numerous examples throughout Aquilini's reign here as an owner of just what a shady person he is, how he's treated his own family members, like him, and I think they were cut out one of his brothers from the ownership group as well. There's been reports that his kids don't want anything to deal with him because of court and legal battles and like abuse and all that. So, you know, it says a lot about the person as an owner, and it shows whether it's a hockey story or not, and whether it involves the Canucks or not. At the end of the day, you are owning this vineyard company that, you know, license or brings up these immigrant workers to work. So you still have a part to play because you are known as the owner of the Vancouver Canucks. So it does tie back into hockey no matter what, how you view it, right? So the way they handled, you know, Trevor removal from the arena, I thought could be handled much better. They purposely did this, in my opinion, during the first intermission to make an example of a young guy. They would not pull this shit for the first time, no other reporter had been removed mid-game, they would not pull this bullshit with some of the veteran guys. Can you imagine them trying to do this to, J-Pat or, some of the more experienced reporters? They wouldn't have the balls to do it to one of the more veteran guys. So what do? They make an example of the young guy because they think that by setting an example, causing a scene in the middle of a first intermission during a game, mid-game, and escorting and asking him to leave, it's just like a classic case of just mistreating Begsy as a person and taking away his dignity and his integrity, right? And so, if you're going to be upset about a story, like Tyler was saying, don't do stupid shit. Don't give the media or, people things to write about that are going to be controversial. Run things normally, run things, legitimately as an organization, do things with common sense. And you won't put yourself in these compromising positions where media has to find ways to write stories. This is not on Begsy at all. Begsy busts his ass off, providing coverage and attention and eyes to your product, to your team. When
Well said.
this team that probably doesn't even deserve it, to be honest. You should be grateful that there are people and content creators like yourselves and Begsy and all the media and all the young writers out there that are willing to write and provide exposure to your shitty product. And how do you treat them? You mistreat them. You view them as all with the same lens, whether you're a YouTube creator, whether you're a young reporter trying to get into the industry like Begsy, that's just not how you treat people. So, if you're going to be upset about the story, don't do it during a game. Just, do it privately behind closed doors. Deny Trevor access to the practice in the morning. Do it very privately and you don't create as much noise as you do now when you're doing it in the middle of a game. It's going to catch up on socials. That this fan base is going to be fired up because they have so much to be upset about with this ownership group. And you're just providing the fans with more fuel to go against you, right? And that's why, this whole hashtag with, justice for Begsy, free Begsy, it's not just about the past. It's about just standing up for what's right and standing up for voicing an injustice on how you treat people. And I think that's why you have to kind of vocalize it and show Begsy that we are all Canucks fans. We all are Canucks Nation. And we're all going to support him because of common decency. And clearly, I've made jokes, a few times tonight that, it's the North Korea Canucks because this is, being run like a dictatorship. And, it's absolutely horrendous that, the Aquilinis are allowed to get away with this time and time again. And, I still can't believe that there are people out there, on socials trying to defend that actions have consequences, right? And, if you're going to badmouth an employer or you're going to badmouth a business, of course they have every right to run things the way they want to run things. But actions have consequences too if you're the fucking owner of the Vancouver Canucks, because we are fucking pouring dollars and we are the fan base that are supporting your shitty product and making you rich to begin with and entrusting you with the ownership of this team that we love. So
Okay, wait, this down here.
Yeah.
I saw this when I was on ice before the scrimmage, and I was just like, huh. And then just didn't worry about it. And then when I was up at the suite at the Kings game, and this came on because I was actually recording the whole Canucks game intro, and then had it at the end, right? And I saw that, and immediately I thought of you, Justin, and because the whole
Oh my
thing
God.
it's all together, all in. I think
Every
that's the whole
year.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
Every
wait,
year
wait.
they come up with a marketing slogan like that. I think it's gone from like we are all Canucks one year to like all together, all in. They come up with some corny, cringe cheese line to say that we're all in this common goal to win a cup and everything and like that, just to try to motivate, the organizational staff and everything.
But the reason why I thought of you when I saw this was because I looked up and I looked all together all in or whatever it was, and then immediate in the back of my mind it was all together all in for the tank, and I thought of you. Like that's like
Hey,
that's like
it's a common direction, so it works. It applies regardless. So
it's the perfect slogan because they are all together all in for the tank this year.
yeah,
And it works out, even though at the beginning of the year they're like all together all in for something, which I don't know what it was because they obviously had no 2C at that time.
Mhm.
And they injuries and all of that, like I don't know what they're all in for. So yeah,
that's a good question. Sometimes, and that's something that I also want to dive into. It's not just the ownership group; it's the fucking communications department. The PR team, the PR department. I'm gonna blast them as well because, it's constant damage control. Whether it's the size of a French fries that at the concessions at a game, or the scandal behind that, or whether they're trying to crack down on internal people. I've got a comment from people I know saying that the last few years, how ownership and management has handled the organization and the people that are working there has been saying that it feels like they're spying on employees more rather than valuing employees. And that just with the installation of cameras and everything, it's absolutely ridiculous. How
okay, let's
ownership,
put it this way. Let's put it this way. Okay. If you were the owner, how would you deal with it? Because this is just common practice within any sort of corporate business.
yep,
I'll let you know in the airline that I worked for. I'm not going to say it here right now,
Yep.
but even on the flights, the service directors, because of technology advancements and whatnot, everyone could potentially have a pair of Ray-Bans, Meta glasses, whatnot. They have their service directors spying on the employees with these
Yeah.
glasses and then giving it to management. Like it's that bad.
don't be hypocritical though. If you're
So
gonna,
even with Canucks, they have cameras everywhere. I
Yeah.
mean, it's they are there, and
Yeah.
if you're doing something stupid, then you put yourself in that position. But
agreed.
I agree with you, but at the same time, if you're an ownership of a corporation
I'm not saying that
of,
they can't have
you know-
cameras because you have to protect your business. I can see it from a business viewpoint together as well. And shout out to Rain. I just saw your text message, so I appreciate your comments. But as a business owner, I get you want to protect your business and you want to make sure that everything's on the up and up. But then when you're doing one thing on one hand and then being completely hypocritical on the other hand with the way you present yourself in public, people don't know that you're controversing yourself, contradicting yourself with the way you present yourself and then the actions that follow. You can talk the talk in one hand, but if you're doing something the complete opposite, how is this fan base, how is anyone that supports your business and your product going to have any faith or trust in you? Right. And so I feel like, what would I do if I was the owner? Well, I don't think you can pay me enough to be the owner of this team, but at the same time, how about having some common sense? How about having some accountability? When was the last time we've seen the owners actually step forward and take accountability for how this product has sunk to such lows in the last decade?
No, but
Exactly.
you realize Aquilini is not going to. I think the
He's
last
not
time he
going
was
to
at a
because
press
he's a fucking
conference,
coward.
the last time he was actually sitting at a press conference
Mm-hmm.
for the Canucks, I think it was when Quinn was named captain.
Well, yeah,
Correct
all
me
the
if I'm
all the
wrong.
good PR stuff he's there for.
Yeah.
All the photo opportunities he's fucking there for. All the good feel good posts about the charity work that the organization does. He's front and center, right? But all the negative
Yeah,
stuff,
that
why
sounds like
he
someone else we know too.
exactly all the stuff, all the good stuff he's out there for, front and center, and garnering the attention and the lore, making him look like he's such a saint. But what about all the the times when the organization is not doing so well? He doesn't come forward and
No,
answer for it.
I
He blocks his
agree.
own Twitter
I
account so
agree.
people can't reply to him. Right? He doesn't like it. He just blocks you, or he just blocks all the replies on his post because he knows there's going to be backlash. Right? And so at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like, what a coward, complete coward of an owner. And, it's
But you know
a
what?
shame that he's brought the
I'll-
Canucks this far.
on the other end, like, I'm not defending him. I'm
Mhm.
not like you guys know where I kind of stand on this whole topic too, in terms of
Yeah.
management and if it should still be kept. But for the benefit of the doubt, I just feel that he put himself in too much during the 2010 2011
Mm.
run, and then also pretty much buying the team. I think it wasn't until 20. Okay, let's not go with dates, whatever. But when he got full control of everything, he should have stepped back.
Yeah.
In terms of running a business, if you look at it from a standpoint
Being
of
metal.
like a textbook situation.
Yeah.
No, from a textbook situation, any corporate company, it doesn't have to necessarily be run by a family business.
Mhm.
You can go out and hire someone else to be the CEO of your company who
Yeah.
has the experience and who knows how to run it. And from that point on, you're hands off.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a fanboy about it, if you're going to be a
Exactly.
fanboy about your team,
Yeah.
trying to control and manipulate trades and all of that,
Yeah.
then you should not be the CEO.
Exactly.
You can still be the owner. You could be the one that's writing the checks and making the
Yeah.
decisions. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you should not be. You should have someone else that comes in, runs the company, the team, the brand, as a CEO from an external, like from someone out there. Like, for God's sakes, they hire through LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure they can find CEOs out
Yeah.
there. Or
Exactly.
even go after big companies that know how to run, like big companies like like the Pepsi CEO, he was from somewhere else. McDonald's, like, it's not going to be always this mom and pop family, like everything's within the family. Like, if you can go as far as kicking your brother out of the board, you might as well go and hire someone else externally to be the CEO and make these decisions, and you can fanboy all you want.
Exactly.
Is how I see it. And secondly, like, in terms of
Mhm.
like the messaging you said on X, Twitter, blocking that out, he just doesn't have that capacity for it. And he has the right. Every person has a right. Like, you have your own Instagram account. You can have that choice of having it open to the public or private.
Yep.
So you either keep it private or you leave it open and get all the negativities. Like Devin Cooley today on After Hours, if I don't know if you guys were watching, he says as a hockey player, it's great. That's what, like, it's only because he's very positive. He says he gets a kick out of it when he sees these troll messages and all of that, and it's funny to him, like telling him not to win and let the Flames tank out and get the top 3 picks, something like that. He thinks it's funny, right? So if you don't have that mindset or that mentality in accepting that not everyone's going to have a positive comment for your posts or whatnot,
Yep.
then don't do them at all.
Mhm.
Right? So that's what he's choosing to do. If that's what he's choosing to do, then you should be happy that he's picked what to do as opposed to be like in the middle. Right?
Fair. I respect that. And I also want to just touch upon what you were saying about, if you're going to fanboy as an owner, that's fine. You have every right to, you have every right to be a fan just as much as any of us do. But don't fucking, make executive decisions and then try to meddle in the people's jobs that you hired to do to begin with. You hired a president of hockey ops before. Let him and trust him that he's going to run the hockey operations side. You hired a GM, but more often than not, he's hiring nothing but puppets. He's hiring nothing but yes men that'll do everything he says, and he has a hand-on approach to every sort of involvement with the business operations to marketing to the team itself. When you're an owner and you're a fan, that's fine, but you shouldn't be the ones making executive decisions on which trades to nix or which players to keep or which players to extend and everything like that, right? And I saw Irvin's comment earlier about Frygate, which is such a funny story. I'm not sure if you guys realized what happened with Frygate, but that was a whole scandal a few seasons ago where, a long-term season ticket holder, went to one of the triple O's and orders of fries, and they got like 4 fries in their tray, and they took a picture of it.
No,
and
it was
went-
more than that. I
well,
saw the picture.
it
I
was
still
not
remember that.
it
I
was
have that
not the
post
appropriate
saved.
size. The long story was the pictures was like very underwhelming with the quantity of fries
Yeah.
that they got. Right, so they took a picture. It went viral on socials as it should, and they called out the Canucks. And I actually got involved with that situation directly because of my position at that time, and I'm not afraid to disclose that. As a concession workers, I have a lot of pride in the concessions job, right, that I did. So I reached out to this person saying, I'm really sorry that you had this experience. So, but next time, I knew this season ticket holder as well, and I DM'd them, and I was like,
No, but she's also known for stuff like this too, though, isn't she?
Yeah.
I remember going through her posts,
Mhm.
and it's not the first time she's done something like that. But for Frygate, it was just out of sheer luck that it went viral and it got
It
to
went
the Canucks.
crazy
And then that's
viral,
when-
and
yeah. There
yeah.
were other times that she did that at different, like she's always doing this though. But that's the issue. That's why at that point when I saw it, I was just like, no, it's just another Karen. Like this, it's just trying to like get something out of it. But I do see it from a fan perspective that goes like as a season ticket member also going to the games and having to pay for concessions that are well above the prices of
Yeah.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
And it sucks if you're not even getting that same amount, right? So yeah, and don't even get me started with the cups or the popcorn buckets or like you guys all know about that. And that's
It's all
just
strategic ploy, man.
that is kind of petty.
They're
It's kinda
so
petty.
petty now. Like even with Frygate, so I reached out to that and said, "Sorry, you had this experience, but as someone who works behind the concession, if you're ever at a game and you see me behind, one of the triple O stands, come up. I will make it right. I'll give you a free fries and stuff." And this is something that
But-
we've been taught is
But
to
here's the
make
thing,
it
Justin.
right.
We've also you and I have talked about this personally. I don't want to
Yeah.
bring this up on the stream, but
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good thing for all the people that are here that are listening. You just have to understand where Justin's coming from. Like
Yeah.
this man right here has a really good heart. He takes his jobs very seriously. I think he was there for 11 years. It's not because he loved his job. He enjoyed working with the people that were there, and he took his job seriously. But DMing this lady personally, that went over because you're not the owner and you're not a manager like of food and beverage. You're not like you shouldn't need to do that.
Yep.
And if the company found out about that, I don't know if they talked to you about it. That could raise issues for you at that point.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
they did bring
you're
it to my
overstepping
attention.
a little bit, right?
Well, they did
overstepped
bring
a
it to
little
my
bit.
attention, but I explained my reasoning of why I reached out to them and the pride that I had for work. And this was something that when they train us, is that guests are the number one priorities. We are the front line. So as soon as fans enter the building, we're probably the first few people that they have an interaction with. And for the prices that they pay to get into the building, our job is to make sure that their first impressions of the night is a positive one. Their experience is a positive one so that they can enjoy the rest of the evening. So they teach us that if there's any sort of reason that a guest is unhappy, you are empowered yourself to feel like you can make it right. You don't need to seek out a manager. You don't need to ask for permission or anything. Feel what you do is right as long as you're not abusing the policy and giving, free stuff to everyone. If there's a valid reason why I guess it's, their burger is cold, replace it with a new one. No questions asked. And they gave us that responsibility. They gave us that empowerment. And so I took that to heart each and every night that I went to work, because I wanted each and every fan experience that I had with whoever came up to me to be a positive one. No matter how badly the team was losing on the ice, I knew more often than not we were getting blown out on the ice. People were depressed, coming on the concourse, and they were bitching about the high beer prices and everything. It was still a lot. I took a lot of pride to making sure that they had a good time, no matter what the score was or no matter how much they were charging for beers and everything. Right. So that's why it was my motivation to reach out, because it was my position that apparently made the
I understand
mistake.
that.
So it was apparently my position, even though I wasn't the person that was responsible for Frygate and gave that wrong tray of fries. I still took my position very seriously, because I was like, hey, this is my position that I got hired for, and this is something I feel like I need to reach out for, right? And try to work. Whether it was overstepping, yes, I can understand that I should have let management deal with it, and I can understand their viewpoint as well. But the way I explained it was that, guest experience, client experience was what my motivation behind it. It wasn't just to garner attentions on socials. I didn't even post that, hey, I was the one that, made it right, So I didn't even garner any sort of attention to that. And that's something that, she DM'd me privately back saying, thank you so much. I really value your contributions and your motivation and dedication to making sure that, we had a good experience going forward at that future game. She even reached out to me privately about that. And that's something that I never even brought up to management, because I didn't feel like,
You should
hey, look,
see
even they,
that's the case. You should have.
even
Because
I didn't even want to
I think
boast it to the management, saying this is what they said to me personally. You should appreciate that I turned a negative experience to a positive one. When I wasn't asked to do that, I felt compelled in my heart to do it because of the pride I had from my job, right? So, but it is
did they
what it
ever give
is.
you shit for doing that though?
Huh?
For reaching out? Did
I
they
got
give you?
warning.
Because I remember you might have.
Yeah, I got a
because
warning.
that's what I see. If you got a warning for that, because the reason why I brought that up was I remember you telling me there was a warning about you reaching them,
Yeah.
out to them. I explained to you why, right? But if she replied you and thanked you for that, you should have told them that. You should have given that screenshot of that to them, and that warning wouldn't have added up to your ultimate demise.
Yeah. Well, like I said, whether it's a demise or not, it is what it is. I feel so much more liberated now that I'm totally away from all that. I've had a solid run of 11 years. I don't view it with any regrets. I've met so many people. I've trained so many people. My work experience there is nothing but positive, and I've grown to foster so many friendships and relationships with people that are there, not just with colleagues, but also with, guests every single night at a Canucks game or every single night at an event or concerts. All the fans I've served over the years, I have nothing but positive things to say about, And so I look back on my time there with, great pride. No matter how things have ended for me now, I was like, it was a great 11 years. It was a great opportunity for me to have moved on, and I'm better for it, right? And at the same time, just seeing how things have transpired since then is so indicative and so indicative of the management and organizational shift in how they are conducting themselves going forward, because they risk alienating, future fans. They risk, pissing off a lot more than just the fan base. And it's clearly being seen from season ticket holders to casual fans to media, to just, people not just in the Vancouver market, but if that Frygate situation went, global, it was definitely reached beyond Vancouver, right? So
No, but the situation is, I think with Frygate, could there potentially, I don't know the back end, the background of everything, but could there have been a new person that just gave less fries, like just wasn't sure because they were new or something along those lines?
Yeah, it could have
And
been
it
an
just,
honest mistake, but I
right?
think
So
they warned me and they was like, well, technically you don't have the authorization to reach out to fans because we already dealt with it. But at the same time,
yeah.
this person who was impacted said, they didn't even appreciate their efforts because I was one of the first ones to reach out. So they thought my response as a worker, as a concession worker, was more sincere than what they ultimately did for them. Right. So that says a lot that, just a run of the mill average Joe, worker made more of a positive impact on a negative situation to turn it into a positive so that she would return as a fan and have a more positive experience, not just because of what they tried to PR control, try to, control how they look to the media because of how much backlash they were getting because it went viral, right? So it's
No,
absolutely
so
horrible.
okay. No, I'm not going to continue this. Like, I have something else I'm going to say, but I'm going to do this like behind the scenes with you, one on one.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
With this also said, it's just there's some things that we don't know in terms of like the PR stuff.
Mhm.
There's also what I'm also trying to say, like the reason why we have the BS segment between shifts with Irvin on Headspace is because we try to look at different angles of each situation and
Yeah.
not just strictly like, even if we truly believe on one side, we'll also have to look on the other end of things and give the people or whoever's in chat, whoever's watching a perspective of both sides, right? So with the Begsy situation, even though I am obviously fighting for him to get his passes back and just to be treated as a human and not because of he was doing his job and you don't like the situation or what was written and then banning his ass. Yes, you were saying that it could have been dealt better. It could have been like I was saying, it could have been before the game, be like, hey, you can't come in and grab the passes and not even, if you had, but that also says that maybe because there's so many different departments, it didn't get to that department until the first intermission or the first period or before the game started. So there could be a delay because of departmental communication, because you said yourself that communication within the company is just terrible, right?
Yeah.
So that could have been something that happened that they didn't realize until it happened. So I'm
Fair.
just speaking on that end of things, right?
Yeah.
And secondly, just like, yeah, I don't know. Like I don't want to fight for something I don't believe in, but I'm just trying to give a better perspective that like there's always two sides of a story. I
Of
think
course.
at the beginning, Rain also said, and he loves using this quote about the clock. Like even a broken clock is right twice a day, right? So there could
Yeah.
be other things that we can't see or don't understand or don't see that we're too quick to jump at. Even that situation that you were going through and the new information that we got, that we are still sort of thinking, who is this person that reached out?
Yeah.
The situation where I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I'm still at this point, I feel a little, I feel kind of bad. I feel kind of bad because if at the end of the day, the situation was not what we imagined it to be, and it was someone else that did the report,
Yeah.
I feel like an ass now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I hear you. But again, it's such a tricky situation just to begin with, right? Because we don't know who said person is. Even with
Yes.
the messages that I received, we don't know anything about this person. And the fact that when I asked a straightforward question, it seemed like we were having a straightforward conversation. They're off the map,
Yeah.
you know? So kind of stuff there too. Like, I don't know who's playing, what sort of mind games they're playing because they're probably fucking
Yeah.
around with us and we don't know their real intentions or motivations to outing this other party. But at the same time, it's such a fucked up situation to begin with. And like I said, I could care less. Like I'm at peace with it. I just want to move on. I just want to know the full story so that we get the full story and we get the truth. Right. And we
So what
just
we're actually talking about is Justin's, being like his situation on
Yeah.
before leaving the company.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's so a little tricky because anyone can create fake accounts or anyone can create a new account with anonymous posts and everything that you don't even know who they are or have any trail back to who they are, and they just reach out to you and they want to DM you about something that happened with my particular situation, and they want to for whatever reason, whether it's out of goodwill that they want me to know the truth, or whether they think that we think one way and then they want to fuck with our minds some more because they think it's going to impact my mental health or anything like that. Who knows? Who knows what their motivation is and who knows? But some of their actions since disclosing this new information to myself is surprising because then they go back and they disappear.
Yeah, so the whole story of all this is at the end of the day, don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, we might not know everything behind the scenes, and it might seem clear to us that that's what's happening, but always take it with a grain of salt. And even listening here right now with the three of us, whatever we say is our own personal opinions. And it has nothing to do or is affiliated with any company or any persons. So do your own fact checks. Don't be supporting us because you like us or you support us, you follow us. But at the end of the day, do your own fact checks and be accountable and credible for what you post.
Yeah. And I'll be the first one to admit that. I've made numerous comments of things that I probably should have known better not to make. But at the end of the day, even though it was my own opinion as a passionate diehard fan and doesn't reflect poorly on my organization or to bring anyone down, I do take accountability on my part. At the end of the day, I said what I said, and I was the one that posted those things. So I gotta be front and foremost on your platform, Tyler, to at least be man enough to say I take accountability for that, right? And it's
Especially
okay.
when your name has credible in it.
Mhm.
So-
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but for whatever reason, they think that my takes is that of a fan. They think I'm some sort of big shot media guy who has a lot of influence because they're like, well, you shouldn't be saying this or you should be saying that because a lot of people follow you. You have a large following. People trust your take. I'm just an average Joe Schmo fan who just is a diehard fan of this team, and a lot of my takes are not fresh, hot takes that you haven't heard on everyday news or on the radio or on, I'm not the only one saying the things I'm saying. So at the end of the day, they're just like, yeah, but you're representing the organization and fine, fair enough. I get that. You're not supposed to have particular take to make the organization look bad. Fine. I'll take accountability for my takes. And I was ultimately the one that posted it. But at the same time, like, come on, if you disagree with my takes, if you are more on the positive side and you don't like my sometimes critical, sometimes negative takes, be an adult. We're all adults here. Like, have a conversation with me. Like, reach out. I'm approachable. DM me and just let's talk it out. Let's just have an agree to disagree. And at the end of the day, if you present your side, I present my side, we might come across mutual points of understanding and respect each other a lot more for it. instead of just being, petty little high school children and saying, he did this, right? And, go tattletale behind, people's backs and not even try to be an adult about it, right? So that's what ultimately I wish would have happened, is that whoever put in these reports on me, fine, I take accountability that I said what I said, but, come to me anytime. And this applies to anyone in the community. I know there's multiple people who support Pedersen and probably has a lot more positive things to say about Pedersen than me. It's okay. I'm always up for a debate. I'm always up for, conversations. That's what makes this fan base is so great, is that we respect people's takes. And I have nothing against people with different takes. I'm more than willing to always have a conversation. And I'm so grateful to Tyler, CCC, and all these other podcasts for, bringing me on as guests and just having a platform to, have conversations. And that's what it's about. We all love this team, and it's okay to agree to disagree, just respect each other as individuals. And that's all I ask. So.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that, Justin. And, after hearing you say that, what your retort should be is, I'm not a sheep.
Exactly.
No.
And that's what I say, somebody called me out earlier today. It's like, well, you shouldn't be, bashing the hand that feeds you, like, saying that CSE and Aquilinis are ultimately the ones that's putting food on my table. Like, come on, that's not my only job. And like, it's not the one I rely on a living on. It was my fun job. I loved it because I'm a diehard Canucks fan. I love the team. I love being part in the arena and part of the atmosphere and stuff. But that was not my live or die job, right? And so at the end of the day, I was just like, don't bite the hand that feeds you. And they're like, oh, it's pretty fucking simple, don't bite the hand that feeds you. And it's not that hard to understand. And I'm
Always
just
not
like,
doing
yeah,
stupid shit.
it's like, it's not that hard to understand, for me to have a freedom of speech, to have my own opinions and my own takes, even though it might differ from yours. But it's also not that hard to understand that you got to respect people's right to their own takes and not just fall in line and, suck up, right? And be a goat to follow. Sometimes you got to step up as a leader and blaze your own trail, yourselves. Go against the crowd sometimes. I know it can be difficult sometimes, but it takes a lot more courage to be different, to be unique, and to go against what's the popular norm, right? I'm not the type of person that, will always just fall in line and follow something that I don't believe in just because it's the popular choice or it might just be the majority. And, I have different opinions for a reason, and I'm not going to be anyone's goat to, just follow along blindly, right? So call me a rebel, call me whatever you may, but I think that's what sets me apart, and it allows me to have the passion that I do, right? And it allows me to be a lot more unique, and I much rather be unique than someone I'm not. So.
Yeah, it makes you awesome, buddy. By the way, I don't have a extra microphone, but mic drop.
Pipe bomb.
That's what that
Mic
was.
drop.
Even
There you
though
go.
it was a empty it was an empty butane can. So yeah, I don't have an extra microphone. I'm not dropping this one. I
Yeah.
did want to touch on something that G said earlier about, being a fanboy and, being an owner. And something popped into my head that kind of works. Obviously, Justin, you're wearing a Blue Jays jersey. I'm rocking my Blue Jays jersey.
Great start.
If you
The
really
team
think
looks
about
good.
it, if you look at Ed Rogers, who owns the Blue Jays, owns Rogers, look at that is a perfect example right there of an owner just hands off. He owns Rogers, he owns the team, but he doesn't involve himself in the day-to-day operations. That's what Mark Shapiro is for. That is what Ross Atkins is for. Yes, he did kind of get involved with the Vladdy thing, but that's a lot of money. And he's the one footing the bill on that. So obviously he's going to get slightly involved in that. But he wasn't involved in the negotiations. They basically were like, Vladdy wants this number. Are you cool with it? And of course, he signed the check. So that's the only time he really got himself involved. with the actual team and like a transaction because he had to sign the check. But that's like a perfect example of being a hands-off owner and letting the guys you hired run the team, basically. And I instantly thought of that when you were talking about that. That instantly popped into my head as a perfect example of that. Not
Exactly.
to shift back over to Blue Jay stuff, but it's a perfect example.
Just be hands off. Like trust the people that you hired to do their jobs competently. You know.
We need to cap that
Yep.
that first part, or was it cap it, whatever it is, Tyler, and
Clip that.
clip it. Yeah, you gotta clip that other part, and hopefully, we're as lucky as that season ticket member, and it gets viral and it gets up there, right? And hopefully the company gets run better. But shit, I had something I wanted to talk about, but we can continue on something else first.
Yeah. So just
I did want to touch quickly on Justin's thing, the whole Frygate thing, just real quick. I know I totally understand where you're coming from. I work in the industry myself, obviously. I mean, I haven't worked in about a month, but I've worked in the same industry. I know exactly what you're talking about when it comes to that.
Mhm.
So I completely relate to everything you said. I go through the same thing. I see it all the time at where I work. People, and it's like what you were saying, G, earlier about the person doing it multiple times. It's like, for example, just to throw like a little example, like if they don't like a burger, they'll just bring it back and be like, it's cold.
Yep.
But it's actually not.
Yeah.
They just want a fresh. They want something. And honestly, I mean, I obviously do it because that is the right thing to do. But I'll obviously check it, be like, But even then, you still. It's like we said about like the customer. It's you. The customer comes first. Customer is always right. They drill that into you when you work in the food and beverage industry. They
Not
drill
necessarily
it into you.
at Rogers,
Customer's
though.
always right. Well, yeah, obviously Rogers is a different animal, but
And
for where I work, I'm not gonna,
where I have a
I'm
problem
not going to
with
say
it.
where it is because I don't want to get in trouble. But
Yeah.
places, other, establishments that I've worked at in that industry have said the exact same thing. Customer comes first, and hey, if someone didn't like a burger I cooked, takes me. I mean, the way we do it, we kind of pre-cook our burgers at least 90% of the way. So because we're meant to be fast, kind of like fast food. Boom, 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 out, out, out. So it'll take less than 5 minutes, maybe, to cook up a new one. Boom, done. There you go. They're on their way. And then they end up having a good experience in the end. So it's like what you said, you turn a negative into a positive.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on that.
That's part of their whole training too, when we first get onboarded, is that, they want us to feel empowered as employees, that we don't have to seek out managers to make a situation go from a negative to a positive. They tell us each and every night guest recovery is probably one of the most important things because of they recognize how much fans are paying to be in the building. And that's why they were like, well, technically you're not allowed to collect tips either, as concession workers, because they pay high prices and you guys are getting paid much more than any of the other departments. And we're just like, okay, well, technically we're not allowed to have little cups out. We're not allowed to have like little lids, encouraging tips at all. And I just think that's so unfair because that's like, it's not that hard to put an option on the freaking debit machine. You could, and it's up to the guests themselves. If they don't want to tip, they don't want to tip, right? But at least give the guests that power. But they're like, no, it's not the right thing to do. And but they preach night in, night out.
What are you talking about? When you buy alcohol at Rogers, there's always a tip.
Yeah, the beer servers. But the beer servers and the bars, they have those options on the debit machines, but never at any of the concessions. Next time you go to any of the concessions, I guarantee you.
That's
they
true,
don't.
actually.
Yeah. Because they're like, well, the beer servers technically make less per hour. than you guys. You guys are actually one of the highest paying positions in the building per hour than the beer servers. So it's okay for them. And we're like, what's the difference? You know, they sell beer, we sell beer. We sell the exact same products at the concessions. Like we should have equal rights too. It doesn't matter how much we
Oh,
make per
so
hour.
so next time I should go to the food stalls to get alcohol so there's no like tip function.
Well, it's up to you, but technically, like you could tip nothing at the beer servers too. But at least they put that
Bro,
option.
seriously. Like it's the dumbest thing. I mean, it's this tip culture, especially in Vancouver, that's just gone
Yep.
overboard. Like,
Yep.
like tipping is for exceptional service or good
Mhm.
service at least.
Exactly.
And this all started like if you go to Europe, if you go to Asia, there's never going to be a tip. I know going into Japan, you go in there
Yeah.
and there's extra money left. They chase
Yep.
after you to give you
Yeah.
the money back. So the tip culture started back in the day in I would say New York in America, mainly because the hourly pay was so low. So that's understandable, and that's
Yep.
to help them out. But when you have a minimum salary or a minimum hourly in Vancouver, in Canada, all over the country, everyone's making the same amount.
Yeah.
So what gives them the right to get tips when like a mechanic who does your car, are they going to be like, "Oh, can you tip me?"
Yeah.
Like there's no option for that, right? So
Yeah.
why does it make any sense that only food services will have that tip option? Like coffee shops. Let's not go that far. Let's go just to the beer kiosks in Rogers Arena. You go in there, okay, I want a spritzer. They bring it to you and they crack it open with their
Yeah.
spoon or whatever the hell it is because they
Yeah.
had to make sure that it's open and you don't take
Yeah.
it out of the building.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I have to tip you for opening it? That's your fucking job. I'm sorry.
Exactly. Exactly. And you can get
Like,
the exact same product, you know, at a food concession stand, and it won't have the option.
yeah,
It
it
makes
makes no sense. I'm
clearly
sorry.
no sense. And this is something that my colleagues who work in the concessions also have petitioned for it too. Because they were like, well, we do just as much work as the beer servers, if not more. We're the front lines of making sure that guests have a good experience. We're the first ones that they see when they come into the building after getting past security. And, you know, we set the tone for the night. You know, people line up for food, people line up for drinks. We're the first one before they walk around the concourse and find a beer kiosk. Right. And so
I think
where's our
ownership just
value?
needs to change that culture. I think they just need to change the culture because, you know, it doesn't matter if you're working concessions with food or just beer stands or
Just equal
bar or
white,
whatever.
right? You know,
It
treat
should be
people
equal,
fairly.
right?
Treat people fairly. That's all we
Exactly.
ask. Right.
Because like your hosts do their job. They don't
Exactly.
get tipped.
Exactly.
The ticket scanners, oh, they scan your thing. It's pretty much like the same as them inputting, you know, oh, you're gonna buy a beer? Okay, here. Same thing. So why wouldn't you tip the guy at the door?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I feel like if any business that says there is no tipping, like we don't charge a service charge or a tip or anything, that's when I feel like I want to tip the person because they're still giving that exceptional service.
Yeah.
That's where tipping should go back to, as opposed to, you know, a guaranteed, like an expectation by whoever's working behind the table.
And another thing that I want to point out is the flexibility to move departments. You know, I've been offered positions to move departments, and they're like, why don't you become a beer server? You get tips. And sure, you make like a couple bucks less per hour than what you're making now, but the tips are pretty good on most nights. Like there was one night they were short a beer server or something, and they moved me from a concession stand to be a beer server for the night. And I didn't have to worry about food. I didn't have to worry about, you know, popcorn or anything like that. I was just cracking beers and serving beers. And it was great. You know, it was exactly the same type of job that I was doing at concessions, minus the food, right? And at the end of the night, I still walked home with like $400 in tips alone. Like that was crazy. Like, and I was like, but they're like, well, if you want to be a beer server, you can pivot to the beer server department, but they take away all your rights when you change department. They take away your seniority. You start at the very bottom again, so it doesn't matter how long you've been with the company. You know, at the end of the day, someone that they hired this week to be a beer server would have a lot more seniority than you who've been there for years. And so I'm like, and they're like, they schedule shifts based on seniority as well. And because there are a lot less beer servers, if you're next time at the arena, you know, you check out how many beer kiosks there are compared to concession stands. They're like, well, there's a lot fewer beer kiosks and beer stands than there are concessions. So they're like, if you go at the very bottom of seniority, you're not going to get the hours anyways. So I couldn't justify that. Not only was I going to start at the very bottom of seniority and not be guaranteed shifts, you know, I was one of the top ones in my food concessions department. So I was guaranteed all the shifts that I was signing up for. So I was getting the hours, even though I was not making tips, unless the customers were really nice and they slipped me, you know, a $5 bill or something like that in cash.
Are
They
you
encourage
allowed
us
to take it?
We are allowed to take it, but under the table in a way where you can't leave it out. You can't put a cup out. You can't put a lid out to encourage more people to tip you. But if someone slips you, you know, a few bucks here and there, you know, management more often than not in our stands say just pocket it, you know, pocket it right away and don't keep it under your till so that other cashiers can see it. Just very discreetly just take it and then pocket it and call it a day, right? So, you know, I do have experiences with guests who have done that. And, you know, but some of the higher ups who tend to walk around the concourse, you'll see them, they're in suits, they walk around the building, they investigate everything. If they see you doing that, they'll speak to you. Yeah. So, and
Interesting.
it doesn't care, they don't care if the guests pushed on you or insisted or that you hid it in your pocket or anything. They're very, you know, stuck up that way. They go everything by the book. But most of our supervisors that work behind the stand with us, I've gotten to know a lot of them really well, and they're pretty chill. They just said, you know, just you guys deserve it. You guys are the front line. You guys are doing a great job. Just make sure you keep it out of sight. So
Okay, we've definitely gone way off topic with this.
Yeah.
Tyler, do you have something that you wanted to cover before like anything this goes
Yeah.
really
I did want to
unleashed?
highlight this by Connor, just this comment he made. I wanted to highlight it just because I've been in the very exact same boat. I've gone through this myself, so I obviously really sympathize with Connor on this.
sure.
So I just wanted to highlight it because this absolutely fucking sucks, and it's happened to me before. So I wanted to highlight this and say I feel you, Connor. I've been there, and yeah, it absolutely sucks. But, you know, I wanted to highlight that for him.
Yeah, well, that's
Um,
Canada for you, right? So, well, actually, not
Yeah.
really necessarily just Canada, but in general, it's because of the probationary, you know, the probationary period, trial period.
mhm.
They also give you a probationary wage. That's another thing that's kind of controversial with Rogers.
No, but that's the same with everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's yeah. As long as it hits the minimum, then they're fine legally.
I don't remember because it was 2 CBAs ago. So I don't remember if a probationary wage was actually minimum wage at the time, but Chico's chicken.
Ruben,
Where did
new
Chico's
channel
chicken
that is-
come?
sponsor.
that is-
Tonight's stream was brought to you by Chico's Chicken.
That is the best chicken in town, seriously. Like after you have that, I don't know if you can
Oh,
ever
yeah.
go back to like
Oh man, I think
I don't understand how KFC is still in business, to be honest. Like it's just
Oh,
it's no
I
good,
can't
man.
eat KFC, man. And don't get me wrong, I love their fuck, what is it? Not Zinger. Fuck, that sandwich they have. It's not called a
Big
Zinger.
Big Crunch.
Big Crunch.
Yeah, I really liked their Big Crunch, but every time I fucking eat it, I get sick. So I don't know if it's
Yeah.
has something that's in it.
It's the grease. It's the
So-
The grease
grease.
and the spice, maybe.
Yeah.
Or the seasoning.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't go to KFC even though I really liked the sandwich. When I first eat it, and then either the next day or I'm like, puking or feeling really sick. So
You need to go to Download Chicken, man, for a good chicken sandwich.
Download or high five's pretty good too.
For the sandwich,
Oh, no, probably not for the sandwich, but just fried chicken in general.
the chicken. Yeah, I used to go down to Marine High Five a lot just to pick up chicken.
Yeah.
But
Marine and
ever
Maine,
since
right?
Chico,
Yeah.
ever since Chico, it's just like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go anywhere else. By the way, Begsy just messaged me and said thank you for all the support. He really appreciates every single one of you guys.
Awesome.
So he says,
Yeah,
for
he likes-
real, everyone who stood up for me today means the world. So
Yeah.
take it as you, yeah.
one love.
Yeah. All together, all in for
I love
Begsy.
how we're all talking about food. I love
All
how we're
together,
talking about
all
food,
in.
and I just like DoorDash some food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love how we're talking about food, and I just DoorDash myself some A&W. So I'll be right
Oh,
back.
nice.
I'm gonna go get it from the door.
Sounds good.
I'll be right back. You guys can keep going.
It's okay.
and
I got
then,
control.
I
I
guess
have
I'll do my
control.
sponsor read.
Gerald's in
Yeah, and then
control.
when I get, I'll do my sponsor read when I get back.
Do you want me to just do it? Is your food there ready?
Yeah, it's at the door. If you
Okay.
want, just
I'll just do it for you.
go
It's
through
fine. I'll do it for you.
the lines. All right, just go through the lines for I guess tomorrow, and then the video should be the one that's in the media tab. 1:12 is the proper video.
Okay, sounds good.
right,
Okie
I'll be right
dokie.
back.
So we'll let him grab his food, and I will be doing the betting odds. So we got a slate of games tomorrow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. Tyler usually reads them, but I'm just gonna put them here. I'll think about putting a. Let's see here. What's a good? Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, let's just look at the odds here. These are the odds. The odds will change depending on bets that are placed. I actually don't have any good picks for tomorrow. I haven't done my homework. But if I were to pick, I would probably go for, let's see here. Yeah, I'd go for Dallas. $10 gets you 16.45. So that would be my pick for tomorrow. And for the, sorry, give me a sec here. And for the mid-show sponsor, read 112. Obviously, I'm really new at this.
DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL. All rights reserved. This video has been a presentation of both DraftKings Sportsbook as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere.
And Tyler should be back shortly.
Awesome.
You have anything on your mind, Justin, tonight, aside from, all the, our food conversations, Begsy, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I just want to provide another shout out to, the chat. And I've been kind of following what everyone's talking about in the chat. So I know Irvin's still there and, Connor with some perspectives earlier with my situation and everything. So I definitely see all you guys here, all you guys, even though I'm not responding. Big shout out again to Rain. He texted me again and it was just like, I really appreciate the shout out, but you have so much respect for you, Rain. You'll always be Big Brain Rain. So that nickname is forever yours. Yeah, I know you mentioned that you're losing that nickname to me. No, much respect. That name is one of a kind and it's all yours, buddy. So much respect to you too. So appreciate all of you.
We actually got CV, Hangia still around.
Yeah.
Like you said, Connor, Irvin. Irvin's actually in bed. I was actually trying to drag him on to the stream. But I think it's been a lot this week for him. So
yeah.
He's probably in bed with his phone up in his face. But thank you for staying around, buddy.
Bags for Bagsy. As like what Russell was saying on the stream earlier. Bags for Bagsy.
Yeah.
As in,
I
like,
mean, come on, man. Like they ban the bags at the arena, then they kick out Begsy. We should just put them both together. And
now I guarantee you, now I don't think they're gonna allow any sort of Begsy signs or anything to enter the building.
No.
Way too much attention. It's already gone crazy on socials. I'm sure they're not gonna let fans, bring signs.
Yeah. I'm gonna
like,
keep trying to get that hashtag out. I'm gonna try and keep getting that hashtag out, man.
Going, we gotta put the pressure on these guys, man. These guys are not going down easy, but it's not just about getting his media pass back. That would be a plus, but it's about just treating people right. And we need to start doing a better job as a community to call out any sort of injustices, whether it's involving our Canucks or the organization or just in general. We need to stick up to one another when, people aren't being treated right. So.
Yeah. And I think my whole gripe is they didn't even offer him a warning or anything. No, like, please, can you, like, retract your article or change it or anything? They didn't even talk to him first. They were just, like, out.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Like, the guy's job was just to report. He's just doing his job. If it was so, over the line, at least give the guy a conversation and, a warning or something. Don't make a example out of it.
Talk to him.
So this is from Begsy to all of you guys. Like what I read earlier. For real, everyone who stood up for me today means the world. So he feels the love. And if you guys can help him out, I mean, he's not asking for it. We're asking for it. Like I said, do your own research first and see what the situation is before you help us out. Throw out a post, do the hashtag. We'll try to rectify the situation because it's just unfair. So,
yep.
Yep. One love, like what him and Kyle always say, one love. And like what I have up here just above my head, justice for Begsy. There's a reason why I did that. No. And with the little, salute.
Salute to justice.
But yeah. Yeah. So
Yo,
I'll
by the
probably
way,
reach out to him in the coming days.
yeah, reach out to him. By the way, Tyler, I met a bigger mustache than you a couple of days ago. Like you'll have to duel with Dave Babich for that title.
Oh,
Savage.
I lost.
Yeah.
If it's Babs, I already lost, man. I already lost. Even if I shave this thing off, I still lose to Babs. It's like that pitcher I was talking about, Dylan Cease earlier. I lose to him. Look at his freaking greasy stash.
Davis Schneider might give you a run for your money too.
Him too. Babe, as we all call him, Babe.
Yeah.
I don't know why that's his nickname,
But yeah, just a little like a little drop. Just stay tuned. Babs and I, well, I've talked to Babs personally already, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be coming up soon. The ultimate fan experience was unreal, and Jeff Courtnall, BJ McDonald, Captain Kirk. Even Captain Kirk sent me an email yesterday. So hopefully we can get that up and running. We're at 80 subscribers on Headspace Hockey right now. Like I said, when we get to 100, we're gonna try to do a giveaway of some sort. And do I have it here? No, I don't. I have it somewhere. I have that hat that I got signed by Babs and Steamer, so maybe I'll be giving that away. Hopefully if I meet or see any of them, like Captain Kirk or Jeff Courtnall or anyone else, get that signed. I think that'd be a good giveaway prize for Headspace Hockey.
Yeah. Big supporter of, Headspace Hockey and just the community in general. So when you do, get to that milestone of the 100 subscribers, I'll try to dig up something and contribute as a giveaway prize as well.
Thank you. I mean, Justin's always been super generous. I mean, every time on Clay's stream, if someone's birthday or something's going on, this guy will be there. So
No, I mean, you guys are just starting out, but it's a great initiative of what you guys are doing. So you guys have my full support. So happy to support.
Hey, if you guys haven't, give Justin a follow on X, Instagram. Do you have all that, Tyler? Like this is the least we can do because Justin's always, because Justin's.
Oh man, I don't know about Twitter. People might just be like, "This guy just bitches about everything."
Just a precursor. You might get a little tired of him, but
you might get tired of me quickly if you follow me on Twitter. I tend to be pretty active on there and post a lot of stuff. So, but appreciate connect with me. If anyone ever wants to reach out and DM or have a conversation about the team or anything in general, Tyler or Gerald, can provide my channels and you can reach me out that way. So
sounds good.
We're all talking about Babs mustache. What about Lanny McDonald? I totally forgot about Lanny McDonald.
Oh, Lanny, yeah.
I think they'd go 1-2. I just don't know who is one. So I don't think anyone in the league. Well, actually, there is one person that some of us might not like, has been getting a bit of bad press lately, and that's director of player safety. He had a killer stash too at one point.
Oh, Peros. Yeah.
The tough one. Best year.
Okay, I'm gonna call it. It's 1:00 now in Vancouver, and your stream's over 2 hours. You guys can continue this. I need to recover still, and it's been a pleasure, boys. Just shooting shit, standing up for Begsy, and thank you for everyone that's still here. The massive following on X from the line change, and also just the over a couple handful of you here on YouTube. Make sure you give a like to this video, give a subscribe to Justin, follow us on Headspace Hockey, on X, Threads, YouTube. And if you want to inquire about anything or just want to email us, it's headspacexhockey@gmail.com.
There we go.
Mhm.
Justice for Begsy.
Well
So-
said.
So
Well
I'm
said.
going to see myself out, and I'll let you fine gentlemen continue this marathon of a post game. And Justin, thank you for coming on.
Oh, thanks for
and
having
filling
me.
in for me again now. And Tyler, I will talk to you soon, but thanks for having me again. And we'll see you at the next post game on Monday. Actually, I might not be able to do Monday night.
Oh.
But if not, then it'd be Wednesday. And then also Headspace Hockey at the usual time, Thursday night at 10 p.m. Pacific. That's Vancouver time. We'll be having Begsy on. And if you have any questions, DM us your questions, anything you want to ask him. I'll try to relay that on the stream. So
cool.
That's that. This is G. Gerald K.
Sounds good, buddy.
From Headspace Hockey,
Mhm.
and I'm out, guys.
Good night, bud. Take care.
Night.
All right,
Awesome.
later, buddy. Yeah, you know what, Justin, I might have you on Monday as well if G can't make it out. So
Cool. Yeah.
But I'm
Amazing.
sure. Sorry.
Let's pop back in.
That's
Oh,
his
man.
mid sip too. My bad. Well, no, because I switched it to a different scene. But yeah, what did you guys think about the three person scene there? I kind of customized it a little bit
Pretty
there
nifty.
the other night. But yeah, as you said, up at the top, that's probably gonna be there for a long
It'll
while
be
now.
over.
Justice for
Yeah,
Big C.
we're gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we won't go for too much longer, as you know, I got stuff I want to do, but
Yeah, for sure.
since and I know we're, like I said, 2 hours and 17 2 hours and 17 fucking Urban. Dicks out for pigs.
Oh my god.
man.
Trust Irvin to come up with the creative,
Oh.
you know. Guys got it.
Oh,
Guy's hilarious,
man.
you know.
That's good. But I figured, I know we're, like I said, 2 hours and 17 minutes in it. We kind of covered the post game, well, almost 2 hours ago, and you know, not much really to talk about Canucks related in this game, other than the fact that they got stomped by the Flames. So, and since you are wearing a Blue Jays jersey, I'm wearing a Blue Jays jersey. When we
There we
talk,
go.
I know, and again, we're only 2 games into the season.
It's early. But
Still a good start, you know.
Yeah.
2-0 to start the season. Back-to-back walk-off wins, which is amazing. You know,
The team
obviously,
looks good. Roster looks good.
yeah, obviously the first night it was Jimenez who was the hero. And then tonight, I guess technically last night was Erndog. And yeah, it was a little scary there, you know, with, you know, the A's making it. Sorry, G. I didn't even click on you. I just simply clicked on the scene and it already had you there. My bad. But you know, very a little scary there with the grand slam by the A's.
Yeah.
I know I voiced my displeasure at the certain pitcher that allowed that grand slam. I think the guy should be fucking DFA'd because he sucks. And he did this so many times in the postseason last year. So it's like, you don't throw him any leash, even though it's 2 games in. He's
Yeah.
done this before. I obviously let Hoffman off the hook a little bit just because it's 2 games in, and he played really well in the postseason. So
Yeah, I
so
was
I give
about
him
to say.
a little
He,
bit of leash, just not Brendan Little because he sucks.
oh my God, Little is just like asking for it.
Yeah,
But
I did
no,
mention
one thing
earlier
I've
too.
noticed 2 games in is just a lot of a reminder of how last season went, for the Blue Jays. This roster is filled with, of course, the big stars, in Vladdy and everything. But at the same time, I really like the depth. Nathan Lucas, Ernie Clement, even deeper down the lineup, we have George Springer, obviously the big guns, but at the same time, just the depth of the, 7, 8, 9 guys, right? That can step up and provide clutch hits. So it's really exciting to see the roster come together, and hopefully the team can, really build off of a successful season last year and really be a force in the division and the league, right? Because they're playing great ball. The roster looks great. And, compared to league, I think we've got a legitimate chance that if everything goes well, that the team can make it just as far this year. So
Totally. And I know some people were like, because obviously with opening day they had, they had the banner unveiling for the American League champions, and a certain Toronto. I mean, he's not even a freaking reporter anymore. He used to be. Well, I wouldn't even say reporter, but he used to be part of the Tim and Sid show.
oh,
And
okay.
I'm not talking about Tim McAuliffe. I'm talking about the other guy in that. Or here, and even if you, I mean, Justin, you know who I'm talking about. But if there's people in the chat who don't know who I'm talking about, think of a clown. He's a fucking clown. And I'm talking about Sid Sexero. He's a fucking clown. And he was kind of, trashing on it, going like, oh, the Blue Jays shouldn't be celebrating that they,
Walked up.
that they didn't win the World Series. But it's like, dude, they won the American League. They were the American League champions. They went to the World Series. Yes, they lost in Game 7, but they're not celebrating losing the World Series. They're celebrating, being the best team in the American League. So they're going to unveil a banner on that. And they, of course, did. They celebrated it. And one thing that really stood out to me, and I mentioned Ernie Clement earlier, well, apparently he penned a letter to Blue Jays fans in the Players Tribune. And, he mentioned, I won't quote, I don't know all the article. I haven't actually read the letter, but I've heard snippets of it where he basically was like, this was after the World Series. He was involved in a golf tournament, and his partner was Joe Carter. He was partnered up with Joe Carter. So he was obviously over the moon about it. I mean, who wouldn't want to be paired up with Joe Carter?
Exactly. Yeah.
And he just highlighted where he was talking to him about it. Because if you actually remember back to Game 7 of the World Series, Ernie Clement was the final out. So he could have been Joe for the World Series this year. He could have had his Joe Carter moment if he had managed to, get a run in. He could have been Joe. And he was really down about that. He was really down on himself over that. We talk about, mental health, obviously with headspace and whatnot. But he was really down on himself about it. And he was talking to Joe about it. And he's like, I feel like I let everybody down. And then Joe's just like, no, even though you guys lost, you should be proud of what you achieved this year.
Yeah.
You made it all the way to Game 7 of the World Series against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And, yes, you came up short. You lost. But you should be proud and, happy with how you guys played this season, what you accomplished in the postseason. I mean, freaking whooped the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yankees lose. That will never leave my head, and that is like the best thing ever. But yeah, and they should be proud of what they achieved, what they accomplished in this season. And if you really think about it, and this, I might be a little biased towards this just because I am a Blue Jays fan, but and I've even said this in the past too. They took the Dodgers to Game 7, and in my opinion, for the majority of that series, they outplayed them.
Exactly.
So,
I was just about to build off of that. That yes, they lost the World Series and they fell short, but they gave the Dodgers a run for their money. They were the only team that really put up a fight the entire run for the Dodgers, and to go up toe to toe, and just come within a few plays that could have swung the other way from dethroning the Dodgers. You have a lot to be proud of. You put up such a fight against this super team that, everyone was saying would easily walk the Jays, and the Jays didn't back down at all. There could have been one or two plays that could have gone the other way, and we would be talking about a completely different story, right?
Yep.
So many close calls, so many controversial plays that could have
inches away, literally inches away,
just inches
foot-
away from scoring that
away.
run at home.
Not to
Right.
throw a foot analogy in there, but literally a foot. If you actually rewatch, that whole IKF thing, it was literally a foot away.
We're right there. They were right there.
See, I'd put that is legit right there. That is actually being right there. You look at the Blue Jays Game 7; they actually literally were right there.
Exactly.
So, nice little tie-in with the Canucks thing. That was awesome.
One thing I forgot to mention is that former in-game host that works for the Canucks. I'm not sure if you remember Hannah Bernard and Kate Pedersen. Apparently I found out that Kate Pedersen is now covering the Avs because I guess one of the Avs reporters are going on mat leave or something. So Kate Pedersen's going to be the new person that's gets to watch Avalanche games and cover them. So that's kind of exciting because of the Canucks connection. And then, obviously we had Hannah Bernard as the in-game host, and she did a short video clip about if we draft another Swede, I'm gonna punch them all. Maybe we should take a break from the Swedes for a bit. Hey, draft some Canadians, right? So that's been kind of going around on social.
She's half Swedish too.
And she's half Swedish too, which is kind of funny hearing it come from her. So so that's kind of going around on socials as well.
That's awesome for Kate Pat. I actually quite liked her. When she was here, I quite enjoyed her. I know she's been doing a bunch of more general NHL stuff, but she was great. She
had great charisma and great personality during her time as in-game host, and not to flack on any of the in-game hosts that we have now or anything like that, but she was definitely one that stood out and did a great job. So
they're all good. At least the ones that I've seen, that they've all been good. I'm a big Jackie Redmond fan, just because of the wrestling connection there too.
Yep,
I think she's great, and she does a lot of NHL stuff too. Obviously, with watching the Blue Jays, I'm a big Hazel May. One. The whole Gatorade shower thing is so funny. How she
so iconic and so funny every single time.
Like, she gets out of Dodge, and actually, I was watching it earlier when Ernie got the Gatorade shower.
Yep.
And just seeing her in that orange outfit, I'm just like, ooh, she's not gonna want to get that.
No, exactly. That would be a whole.
But yeah, I love this comment from Handria. By the way, Handria, I'm so glad that you're still here, man.
Oh,
legit.
That play. I totally forgot about that play too.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now that you bring it up, I was like, that could have gone so. Yeah.
What are the chances that actually happens at Rogers Center, considering how close that padding is to the wall? How that could have happened? Still grinds my gears. I actually kind of until I saw this comment, I kind of forgot about that too.
Yeah.
But
because my immediate thought was that close out at home just by inches, and that could have been the winning run, right? So
Mhm.
whether
Oh,
his
totally.
foot touched the plate or just the back heel of his toe touched the plate to count as an out, just mere inches away from it swing the other way. But good start to the season. Like I said, the Jays will have a great year, I think. So
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, it's only 2 games in. Yes, they're
yeah,
starting off the season against the A's, the
yeah,
pesky A's, and you'd think the score would be a lot more lopsided, but they got a really young team over there in was it Sacramento? I guess they're playing right now.
yeah.
They got a very young team, so but yeah, and yes, I know, Connor, we're off topic. Also, 2.5 hours in, so I figured not a whole lot of people are going to be watching this part. So I figured I'd sneak a little baseball stuff into it since it's baseball season, and I guess I may as well put out here on because some of you may know, maybe not everyone, but I know Justin, that I was doing a Blue Jays channel for a little bit there.
Mhm.
I've made the conscious decision not to bring it back. I'm not going to be doing that channel anymore. Just for, because it's 162 games. That's a lot. Plus doing this also during the summer is going to be a little tough. So I made the decision I'm not going to continue that. Maybe I will down the line, like in a few years or something like that. But right now, I just want to focus on this channel, the Canucks. So I figured I'd announce that, here, just so people know it's public. I mean, I'll keep that channel up. I won't delete it or anything. It's in hibernation right now.
There you go.
It's sleeping right now. So
Done. LTIR.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I put it on LTIR for the foreseeable future.
Exactly.
But I just wanted to mention that because I've kind of been thinking about it the last few days, since, baseball's back and whatnot. So, but yeah, great start for the Jays. I talked earlier about, Gosman with the 11 Ks and on opening day night, like setting a record. And then Dylan C's going and doing the same thing the next day, breaking the record for most strikeouts in their Blue Jays debut with 12.
Yep.
And you haven't even had Cody Ponce pitch yet.
Yeah.
He's yet to make his debut. That's the scary part. And you had your first 11 strikeouts. And keep in mind, Gosman only allowed 1 hit in that game too. And
Pretty
I believe
solid,
I believe it was a home run that he allowed. So he allowed 1 hit. Or no, Gosman didn't even allow a run. Sorry, I'm mistaken on that. Gosman didn't allow a run. He allowed one hit, and then the run came in after he was already lifted from the game. And then you have Cease come in, and he strikes out 12. And I haven't looked, but I think Ponce might be starting tomorrow, or at least starting the next game, because I think that's their 1, 2, 3 in the rotation.
Right? Yeah.
So and that's a killer 1, 2, 3 right there.
That's deep. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I didn't watch too much of spring training, but I heard Ponce was a beast in spring training. Like he was striking people out left, right, and center.
Really?
In spring training.
That's encouraging. So.
Yeah. So he was great. And then you still have trying to think of the rest of the rotation, because I know your Savage is on LTIR right now. He's on the injured list. I know they have Scherzer. I think Scherzer's like at the tail end of the rotation.
Yeah.
And I believe Barrios is on IR as well, if I'm not mistaken.
You got a couple guys banged up a little bit, but
yeah,
one's fully healthy. That's crazy. That's a crazy rotation.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. Like the fact that they went out and got starting pitching in the offseason is amazing.
Huge.
The fact that they got, Cease, they got Ponce, they re-signed Scherzer. I just really wish they had re-signed Bassett and brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
That one stung That one really sung, and it's actually ironic. Alfred jumps in here from Toronto, and we're talking about the freaking Toronto Blue Jays.
Hey, Alfred, shout out.
So, how's it going, buddy? Hope you're loving Toronto. I'll admit, I am jealous that you're out in Toronto right now, especially considering it's baseball season's upon us. I'd be spending a lot of time at Rogers Center.
There you go.
No, we've talked about on the podcast, how great Climate Pledge is, and I obviously haven't had a chance to go yet. I fully intend to try and go at least at some point. Check out Climate Pledge, but I just gotta give props and flowers to Rogers Center. They got a great stadium there, especially with the improvements they've made. I unfortunately haven't been back since they renovated it. Because actually when I was out there, it was 2021. So it was before they started like all the renos. Right. But even then, it was a great experience, just walking through the stadium. When you go into the store, the J store, you can see right out onto the field.
That is crazy.
Yeah, which is so cool. I mean, only if there's a game. Only if there's a game, they have it open so you can actually literally walk through the store to get into your seat or whatever. But if the game hasn't started yet, they have a glass window, but you can still look out onto the field.
That's
which
pretty
is
cool.
So cool. And don't even get me started on the store and the amount of stuff they have. Like I was literally looking around like with my tongue out, eyes like wide as saucers, just going, money. Like here you go. You get money.
I want one of that. I want one of this. Yeah.
It's quite literally. You can even ask my wife too. She will full on say, "Yep." I was like a kid in the candy store when I was in the J store.
That's
Man,
crazy.
I wanted to buy the entire store. Like they had so much stuff, and then even I think one of the games we went to, we were in the nosebleeds, so we were way high up, which wasn't terrible. Our view wasn't obstructed, and of course, even when luckily, I think the games we went to, they had the roof open, so you could see the CN Tower too, which is pretty darn cool. Like looking up at the CN Tower, great. And then we even, I think at one point when we were walking around the stadium, we walked past the Sportsnet booth where they do like the pregame and postgame. We literally walked right past it, and I was like, "That's Jamie Campbell." That's Joe Siddle, who now does the actual like broadcast with Dan Schulman. So yeah, and just seeing that up close, being like, I watch you on TV. Like, cool.
First-hand experience.
Yeah,
up close and personal.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to go back when I eventually do go back to Toronto and see like the renovations and whatnot. Obviously, back when I went, they had the old bullpen. They didn't have like the new one where you can actually look down on it. So yeah, definitely class, top notch stadium in baseball. I mean, it's the only one I've been to in baseball, so a little biased, but definitely great experience. And even just being in Toronto, I know we kind of shit on like the Leafs and whatnot in Toronto, but Toronto's a very, very vibrant city.
Such a funny story with that. Growing up, I was always a BC kid, Vancouver kid, and I would shit on Toronto. West Coast is the best coast. And then, with my partner and my girlfriend, right? And when our relationship first started, we were long distance and she was out in Toronto on her own, right? So, it kind of, I would give her a hard time about Toronto and she would often joke around saying, don't trip on Leafs, right? Because of the Maple Leafs and everything, and how the Canucks were often saying that Toronto's the center of the hockey universe, and we were getting all this Leaf, coverage shoved down our throats out here in the West, saying, "What did Austin Matthews have for breakfast?" Like, we don't care out here in the West. So it's just kind of funny, but had the opportunity to travel to Toronto for the first time, with her, and I had my aunt lives out there too, and I gotta admit, as a Vancouver born and raised, a lot of appreciation for Toronto as a city. Like you were saying, very vibrant city. Had a great time there. Everything is just so close to each other. Scotiabank, the Leafs Arena, the ballpark. The CN Tower. So much to see. Their nightlife, was great. They have restaurants and patios open at 1, 2 in the morning, and that's something that.
Oh yeah.
And their patios would be filled at 1 or 2 in the morning with people eating on the patios and stuff. And that's just something, we couldn't fathom to see out here in Vancouver, right? So, well, what do
Especially
you
the
mean?
downtown core.
Yeah, what do
Especially
you
the
mean
downtown
10 o'clock closing last call here, right?
Yeah.
So whole new appreciation for their transportation system as well. So it was a enjoyable time in Toronto. So I'll definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't been there, or definitely give it a fair shot. So
Definitely 100%. And actually, after we went to because we went to 2 games, I was originally only going to go to 1 game with my wife. Obviously, my wife tagged along, and originally we were going to only go to 1 game. And then literally a couple days before we were going to go, I literally bought tickets for the second game because it was they were playing the Yankees, and it was like a series that they were having, like a 3-game set. So I was like, well, let's go to 2 out of the 3. And so I got the second pair of tickets, like a few days before. I think it was the first game we were in the nosebleeds, and then the second one, they were a lot better seats. But I remember I forget which game it was. It was one of the 2 games. Might have been the first one. We ended up going to King Taps after the game and had dinner, because at the time I was working for not Cactus Club, but Tap House, a place called Tap House that's in West Van. That's in the same, it's basically Tap House is owned by Cactus Club, and Cactus Club owns King Taps. They're all in the same, they're all part of like a group that's owned by Cactus. So a lot of their menus are very similar. So I was working there at the time, and trying to think here. I think he's the regional chef. So he basically is in charge of all certain different locations in a certain area. So he oversaw all of them. So that was Tap House, Cactus, some places in the interior too. So he oversaw all of that, and he would usually pop in to our location every now and then. And coincidentally, his name is Tyler too. So obviously him and I hit it off right away. So I told him, yeah, I'm going up to Toronto. And he's like, you know what? And he's like, do you mind, bringing me home a Blue Jays hat? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. He's like, I'll send you the money. Do it. And I was like, yeah, totally. I can totally do that. Just tell me which one you want, and I'll take a picture of it, and you can tell me. And he's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to because I told him we were gonna pop into King Taps, and because I wanted to try it there and go to that location in downtown. And he's like, I opened that one. So I was like, oh, sweet. And he's like, you know what? I know a lot of people down there. So when you guys go, dinner's on me.
Oh, nice.
So yeah. So I was like, all right, awesome. And he's like, I'm gonna call ahead and let them know that you guys are coming. And it's on me. Like, everything's on the house.
Wow.
And so yeah, we didn't end up having to pay for going to King Taps. I got him the hat, and went back home, and he gives me shit for not buying more booze, for not ordering more booze, because I only had 1 drink, and I think my wife had 1 drink. He's like, why didn't you drink, dude? Like it was on the house. I was like, I mean, I don't really drink. I'll have the odd beer here and there, but I
Yeah.
don't like out of my way to get like sloshed. So
Yeah.
he like gave me shit for not running up the tab, and I was like, I don't want to be a dick and run up the tab on you, dude.
Exactly.
Obviously he could afford it, and he was expecting it too. He was expecting a big tab, and when he saw it, he was just like, "What the fuck? What the hell is this?" So yeah, maybe I should have, but wrapping it, bringing it all back together. Yeah, the downtown area, and yeah, their patio was open. That it's a big King Taps too. I think it's like 2 floors. On that one, just kind of like the one at Lonsdale Key that's opened recently. That's a 2-floor one as well. I still have to try that one out, by the way. I haven't been there yet. But another thing with Toronto, since we're on the topic of Toronto, and something that is really great about Toronto, their transit system.
Yeah.
Compared to ours
Yeah.
fucking sucks
Yeah.
compared to Toronto. And I was about to say while you were talking, be like, yeah, their transit system's even better too.
Yeah.
I mean,
TTC, everything.
yeah. I mean,
Union Station.
I loved Union Station, and
Oh,
that's right by
Union
CN Tower. It's right.
Oh.
Literally, you can literally walk out the doors, a certain doors, and literally CN Tower is like right fucking there. Like
It's just so centralized and so convenient. You have your buses, you have your, trains. If you want to go a bit further out of the downtown area, it's so convenient just to hop on a train at Union Station and, be able to just go to some of the other areas outside of the GTA, right? So convenient and it's so accessible. And of course, it's like a mini mall underneath Union Station too. They have so
Oh, yeah.
many restaurants, and the food court there is to die for. I don't know how many times I've lost count of going to Shake Shack down there. So that was my guilty pleasure down there at Union Station as well. So
Yeah. Union Station was great, and then even like when you, because we stayed in Mississauga, we didn't stay in the city, so we stayed like right by where the airport, like not right at the airport, but it was like literally like across the street from the airport is where we stayed. And there's a train that connects from the airport and takes you all the way downtown. It's kind of like our Canada line, but a bit more like, I would say like what Alfred says, more. This obviously the Canada line is great. Don't get me wrong. I actually do like the Canada line. I do.
Yeah.
But that is more SkyTrain-ish, like the way it's designed and whatnot. The Go, I think it's called the Go. I still have my card that I got when I was there. I still have that card, the transit card. But it's more like an actual. I would compare I think it's called Go, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a lot more like the West Coast Express that we have here. It's a lot more like that. And it's like, it's like what Alfred says, Canada Line is like a mini subway, technically. But this one is more, it's more like an actual train than it is. It has, better seats. Obviously that train from the airport to downtown Toronto is like an hour, give or take. But it's more like an actual like West Coast Express, train. It's more, I'm trying to think of the word. It's more formal, like when it comes to like the design. It feels more like Richie kind of a way. And that's just how it's designed. It's got, stuff up, where you can put your bags up top. And yeah, it was great. Actually, like I said, I think I still have my Go card from it. But I just loved the feel of it and how it's like, oh, this feels like, and I think actually here I'll give a quick funny story. It's Metrolink. Thanks. Presto.
Presto. There we go. The Presto card.
Yeah, I still have mine. It's a little bad there on the corners, but
the nice keepsake. I think that's what we used as well. So when we were there, but
Yeah, it's almost. I mean, come on, it's almost 5 years old, that card.
Yeah.
That's from like 2021.
exactly.
But funny story, I'll say, and then we'll probably go in maybe 5, maybe 5. Well, we'll do 10 more minutes. We'll let it get to 3 hours, since this story is pretty good. So originally, we got there. We dropped our stuff off at the hotel. Went back to the airport. We're like, we want to go into town, into downtown. So we went towards the train. And we're like, where's the because we're so used to like TransLink and the stalls where you have to tap your card. We're like, where are those?
Yeah.
Like where do we get a Presto card?
Yeah.
So I didn't see them. Like they're not like, they don't make it so you can't get through without one. So we literally walked onto the train for free without paying. And they took us all the way to downtown Toronto. And then I realized once we got to Toronto, oh fuck, we didn't actually pay for this. I hope they don't have someone like be like, let me see your tickets, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
I was like,
pass the
oh
receipt.
shit. And
Yeah.
there's someone like checking. And I was like, oh man. So I literally bought the card once we got to downtown Toronto at Union Station. It was like, oh fuck, my bad. But maybe you should have more better thing there, an actual like prevent people from actually like catching a ride or something like that. But
That was something I noticed too when in my time in Toronto, was that there was a lot of just people that walked on.
yeah, probably because they assume everyone has a Presto card.
Yeah. So,
But I felt really bad going like, shit, we're outsiders, we're not from Toronto,
exactly. So
we're
we can't
supposed
blame
to
them.
and I was just really hoping someone didn't come on and be like, can I see your ticket? Da 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 da. Like, oh, because that was
Go check.
and I didn't even mention that this was only a 3-day trip. We were only there for 3 days. So I didn't want that to have our trip start off like that. I was like, oh, that's bad. Like, man.
Good shit. Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a little funny story about me forgetting to pay for a ticket to go on the or forgetting to get a Presto card when we initially walked onto the train. But yeah, going back to the whole downtown stuff and the vibes. You mentioned Scotiabank. I didn't actually walk all the way down to Scotiabank, but it's literally down the street from Rogers Center. You can literally see it from Rogers Center.
Exactly. Right beside like Union Station.
Yeah. Although I think Union Station is a little bit closer to Rogers Center.
Yeah.
Because you can literally walk out onto where the CN Tower is, and then you have Ripley's, the aquarium there.
Yeah.
That's one thing we didn't do either. We didn't go into the aquarium, but we didn't hear good things about it.
Really?
We didn't even have time. Well, keep in mind we were only there for 3 days. We had a very condensed window, and two of those days we're going to Jays games, so I kind of prioritized the going to the Blue Jays.
Fair.
And we didn't even go into the CN Tower or go up to the top. I mean, I'm afraid of heights, so you knew I wasn't gonna do that. And two, I'm not doing the skywalk or whatever the fuck it's called. I'm not freaking doing that. And looking down, being like, ugh.
Yeah.
And my wife's scared of heights too, so she wasn't gonna do it. But maybe next time we're there, I won't do the skywalk, but I'll maybe go to the top and see like the observatory.
I would recommend it. Even though heights aren't my thing, I got when I was there, I got one of those, what do you call it, city passes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get to pick like three out of the 5 attractions, and you can schedule times, and actually it's a lot cheaper than buying individual admission to each of those attractions, right? So I went CN Tower, I went into the Ripley's, and then I also took like a boat cruise around the entire island. So it was really nice to be able to see the different viewpoints on the water and everything like that. But even though heights aren't my thing, I went up to the CN Tower. It's definitely worth going up there just to see the
Oh, yeah.
view, and it was worth it. So
Oh yeah. We didn't really go too close to the water,
Yeah.
even though you literally can right there on in that where Rogers Center is. Like you can
Mhm.
actually like see the water. Like we didn't walk all the way that close. Actually, one of the things I really wanted to do that, of course, we didn't have time to do because of the 3 days is I wanted to go to Niagara Falls.
Oh,
But
that's
that would have been like a day and a half would have
Yeah.
taken us.
it would
So
be pretty much a full day because
Yeah.
we went down there too, and all the views was just worth it.
mhm.
And then you can see, I think, kind of like if you walk a little bit further down, you can see the border too. I think it was Buffalo as well.
Yeah.
So that was definitely worth it. So
Yeah, like I can't say, and I mean, like I said, we kind of crap on the Leafs all the time, but
Yeah.
we're not talking about the Leafs. We're actually talking about like the city of Toronto.
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly.
and yeah, just that was the thing too, because these games were weekday games. They weren't weekends. I think it was. Crap,
The
I can't even
vibes are
remember.
vibes of Blue Jays game days is crazy because
Oh
when
yeah,
I was staying in Toronto, we were at my aunt's condo and she lives literally right across the street from Rogers Center. So like you can hear the play by play go out. You didn't even have a ticket to the game. You could hear the play by play go calls go off, and it was just such a vibe. When a home run was hit, you could definitely feel the excitement. You see tons of fans walking across the street in Blue Jays gear. So it was definitely a very positive and fun vibe. So
oh yeah, definitely, and I can't remember exactly which days we went. If they were, because I'm pretty sure one of them may have been like a weekend,
Mhm.
like either a Saturday or a Sunday. Because one of the games that I think it was the second game we went to was earlier than the first one. So obviously the first one was the usual like nighttime start, and this is maybe the one knock I will give their the Presto train. This is the only like gripe I'll have with it is by the time the game's over, the Presto thing is done for the night.
yeah,
So it ends the runnings, the times for the train ends before the Blue Jays game is over.
yeah, that
And a lot of people rely on that train to get to where they need to get to. And of course, with us staying in Mississauga,
yeah,
that's an hour drive.
yeah.
So we had to Uber it back to the hotel that game, and that was costly.
Oh
That
man, I
that
can
that
imagine.
cost a lot of money. So that is the only gripe I have with it is the fact that they don't keep it running past like I don't even think past 10. Like you know how here it goes until at least like was
Yeah,
it at least the C bus is like what midnight or something like
something
that.
like that. Yeah,
Some of the buses go until 2.
1, 2 in
Um,
the morning. Yeah,
but this train stopped at like 10 o'clock, like
that's
before
crazy.
that the game would be over. That part I did not like. So they could use some work on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like just walking around. I think one of the days we went to. I'm trying to think of the mall that they have, like that huge mall that they have in downtown.
Eaton Center
Eaton
or
Center, yeah,
yeah,
that we went there.
yeah,
It's basically like our Metro Town kind of in a way.
yeah.
Although I think Metro Town is, I'm not sure. Is Metro Town bigger?
It's equivalent. It's kind of similar. Kind
I
of
mean,
similar.
I don't have the actual sources for that. We were talking about that earlier. Sources. I cannot confirm that it's bigger, but I want to say that it is, or they might be pretty equal. They might
Yeah,
actually
that's why I
be
think
pretty
it's pretty
equal.
similar.
And also that whole like subway, like Alfred mentioned subway earlier. We took the subway train as well. That train station there, I forget the actual street name. It slips my mind right now. But as soon as you walk out of the subway, it looks like you're in like a mini Times Square with all
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
billboards they have out.
Yeah, yeah.
I literally like looked around, going like, "Am I in fucking New York? I thought I
Yeah,
was in
I
Toronto."
know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. It just I
Yeah,
remember
it
seeing
was
that.
it was so cool. And then we went into the Eaton Center.
Yeah.
They have another Blue Jays store in the Eaton Center. Yes, Alfred
Yeah,
Dundas
Dundas. Yeah.
Station.
Yeah,
Dundas,
there
yeah.
we go.
Yeah. I don't think they have that Blue Jays store in Eaton Center anymore, but they did at the time. It wasn't as big as the one at the stadium, of course, but yeah, Eaton Center was great. So much stuff. Again, somewhere I could have spent a lot of freaking money in.
Yeah.
Just all the different stores and whatnot, but just overall, the whole overall premise of this whole thing is how. Wait, what? They renamed Dundas Station to TMU or TMU Station? Huh. Interesting.
I think it must stand for something.
Interesting. Dundas Square. Oh, oh. I totally even forgot the Toronto sign. That was another thing that we
Yep.
did. That was really cool.
That was cool too.
Seeing the actual Toronto sign and seeing City Hall as I'm wearing the City Hall freaking hat logo thing.
Yeah.
Actually, at the time, another reason why we went is my cousin was living there at the time, so we obviously went and saw her. Saw her right outside the Toronto sign. That was awesome, and obviously got our pictures taken. Inside the O of or at least one of the O's of the Toronto sign. That was really cool, and just seeing that like lit up too at night was pretty awesome. But yeah, so basically, as I said, the whole premise of this whole thing is go to Toronto.
A lot of
You're
fun.
not, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff to do, even just in the downtown area. All the restaurants there. Yes, I talked about King Taps, but they had other restaurants there too.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
just a little biased towards King Taps because
It's all good.
I got a free meal out of it.
There you go.
So I'm not sure if that'll work again. But I mean, I still have his number, so maybe.
There you go. You never know.
Never know.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Alfred, speaking as someone who's literally in Toronto right now, don't take my word for it. Don't take Justin's word for it. Take
Exactly.
it from the guy who's actually literally in fucking Toronto right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, I've been to New York as well. So I don't know how I'd rank the two of them, but both of them are up at the top for sure.
They're right up there.
New York is very similar to Toronto. There's a reason why people compare Toronto to New York because they're very similar.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to like the actual city.
Exactly. I just want to acknowledge a few of the people in the chat. SGA, I see you. Shannon, surprised to see you still up, but I definitely want to acknowledge you as well. Shannon's a big supporter on CCC, and definitely see that you're not feeling too well. So our thoughts and prayers go out to you, Shannon, and I hope that you feel better soon. So really appreciate your friendship and everything, and just you being on here tonight just to kind of interact with us. We might be wrapping up soon, but I just want to at least give a shout out to Shannon and SGA. Let them know that we see you. So
yeah. We all love you, Shannon.
Yeah.
Hope you feel better. We're all thinking of you as well. And, Alfred, no, I'm not surprised. It's almost 5 a.m. there because that was the one thing when I was there. The time change actually kind of got to me while I was there.
Yeah,
because I would like call my dad. I'm like, oh shit, we're 3 hours ahead.
One thing I was gonna ask your take on is how do you feel about Shohei Ohtani? You a fan or you?
I mean, I don't mind him.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm glad you said that because
Because there's a reason why I asked. Because obviously, with him being the Dodgers and the Blue Jays playing them in the World Series last year, obviously the guy's a freak of nature and a superior athlete in every shape, way, or form. But we were just talking about the Blue Jays, right? And opening night, and I came across on socials that the Dodgers did something on opening night where they were selling Otani souvenir cups, and you wouldn't believe the price they were charging for them.
oh
But
geez,
yeah, apparently they were $75 for a souvenir cup. A
Jesus,
limited collector's souvenir Shohei Otani collector's cup. But apparently it comes with 3 soda refills for the entire season. So, but I was just like, wow, that is insane.
that sounds very unsanitary
I know.
for the entire
So,
season.
yeah, that's what I saw. I couldn't believe it at first either, but I was just like, that is crazy. Like
Yeah,
$75 souvenir cup, and we thought Rogers was expensive.
yeah, and Alfred, you're 100% right. We don't need him. You're right.
Didn't the Blue Jays
But
fan chant that during
oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah, oh yeah,
World Series? We
they
don't
did.
need
Yeah.
you.
And that was the thing we touched on earlier too when we were talking about how the Jays outplayed them.
Yeah,
Otani wasn't Otani
he was
that series.
super
He didn't
dominant.
do
Yeah,
Otani things. It was the other Japanese freaking
yeah,
guy that it was Yamamoto who freaking obliterated us.
yeah.
But you were talking about Otani. This isn't mine, by the way.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this isn't mine. This is my wife's. She's a big Otani
Yeah,
guy. So I don't mind her getting because it's a Japan one.
Japan, nice.
So and she said she saw it and she's like, I had to have it. I was like, okay, I do not mind that.
Yeah,
Because it's not a fucking
not
Dodgers
Dodgers.
one. And I literally told her, if you get a Dodgers one, I will freaking burn it. So I was like, I'm okay with you getting a Team Japan one. The Team Japan is fine, cool. So long as it's not Dodgers blue,
That is,
you're okay.
there you go. We're
You're
good.
okay.
We're
We're
good.
good. You don't have to worry about being divorced.
Yeah. Oh,
But
it's awesome. I know we
yeah,
went kind of like off topic from like the post game to, talking about, supporting Begsy with everything that he's going through and how this organization really continues to drop the ball with how they just treat people in general. Right. And so it was been quite a good night with a lot of discussion points as well. And then we kind of straight to baseball when Gerald bounced. So
well, it's like I said earlier, we didn't have much to talk about when it comes to the game.
yeah.
I mean, yes, there were some, bright spots. Obviously, PD with that nice pass,
Yeah.
the 2-point game. But, other than that, there wasn't too much to talk about regarding the actual game itself. So and
For the
plus,
rest of the road trip, do you think the Canucks get a win?
I mean, I thought this would have been it.
Yeah,
The
I had the same
low-
sentiment.
I mean, they're facing Vegas on Monday. I know
Yeah,
Vegas has been kind of
Vegas might miss the playoffs. They're not super safe
yeah.
either. So they're going to be desperate. And then Colorado's a powerhouse, right? And then we have, I guess, Minnesota who wants to try to make up some ground and avoid a first round matchup with, Dallas. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's going to be tough sledding.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with Helfrin on this one. I don't think they're gonna get a win on the road now that they've lost to Calgary.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, they're facing Vegas. I mean, the
Arena's
potential
still up
is
too.
the potential is there against Vegas because they've been on a downward spiral as of late.
Yeah.
But they're also gonna be playing, the Avs coming up soon, and they're not gonna be the Avs. Obviously they're playing the Sharks coming up soon too. They're playing LA again. I mean, if they were going to get a win, I would hope it would be against LA after what happened last time.
Yeah.
And hopefully Douglas is in the freaking lineup. So Yeah, and the
Yeah.
Avs and Wild are back to back. So that's they're not winning either of those two. I can tell you that for free.
Might not be easy, but
Yeah. So, but yeah,
there's
it's like what I said earlier with the whole Evander Kane thing, because I kind of went off on Kane.
he's
Them
one away, right?
prioritizing. He's one game away, so that's
Yeah.
why I mentioned it to Gerald earlier that because he'll hit his 1,000 games on the road.
Yeah.
The team probably wants him to do it at home. So sit him until you're back at home and do his 1,000 game. He's only one game away. You can afford to sit him for 2 games. Let the young guys
They're not
play.
gonna do that.
No, I know they're not going to do it, but this is how you justify it.
Yeah.
You want him to hit 1,000 games at home. This is how you do it. You sit him for a couple games, let the young guys play, and he still gets his 1,000 games.
The
And
irony.
you do it at home.
The irony of Kane getting his 1,000th game in Vegas.
Oh yeah. That is priceless right there. Pun intended. That is literally priceless.
For those people who know with Kane history and gambling and everything, it's just so appropriate that it's could be in Vegas.
Mhm. Yeah, that is very ironic. Definitely,
Yeah.
100%. But that's my whole point with that thing is you can afford to let him sit for at least one game.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
one game away. I did notice a tweet earlier by JPat because he's like, people are still on about the, sitting, people are still saying, sit Kane. And he's like, people aren't understanding the whole, 1,000 games for Kane. It's like, they can sit him for one game. Like, he's one game away. You still have now 10 games left. You can sit him for a couple games. He's got 10 more in the season, and he's only one away.
There you go.
So it ain't rocket science. Come on. But like you said, they're not gonna freaking do it just because they're,
Yeah, they'll do it on the road, and then they'll have some sort of special, tribute the first home game back.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a little bit of a muted tribute because obviously they're not going to make a grand show of it. I think with how he's been perceived among this fan base, but maybe during a commercial break or something, they'll acknowledge him on the scoreboard. Congratulations for 1,000 games, kind of thing, or give him, and the league will give him a stick or something. We'll see.
Well, he'll probably get the stick on Monday.
Yeah.
But that might also, who knows? Actually, I just thought maybe that's why they don't want to sit him and have it be at home, because they don't want to make a big deal out of it, even though they are literally making a big deal out of it at the expense of guys like Niels Höglander and Max Sasson not playing them. You guys are making a big deal out of it.
Exactly.
So, and especially when the coach says, "Oh, I want him to hit that mark." But yeah, as we mentioned earlier, not a great game from Tolo. Like I said, cut him some slack. He didn't play for 2 freaking weeks.
Polina's question about who we think would win the cup, it's so hard to tell. Obviously the Central stacked. I still think the Oilers have a run in them. I don't want to see the Oilers win a cup, but I think with McDavid and with Bouchard kind of playing the way that they've been playing the last few, if they can get somewhat competent goaltending, they always seem to be able to have success in the playoffs against, the heavy contenders, the Vegas, the Dallas, the Colorados of the world. They obviously match up really well against LA. So I think Edmonton could possibly make a run. I don't want to see them win the cup, obviously, as a Canucks fan, but I can possibly see them making it as far as the conference finals, probably against Dallas. And in the East, it's so hard to tell. I really like Tampa Bay. I really like Carolina. They've got some of the deep, but I also wouldn't mind going off the board a little bit with a few dark horse picks and saying, someone like Buffalo or Columbus could be a little scary to play too, with how much momentum they gain. So, and then I think Selena also asks a little bit about season tickets. Yeah. My group has opted out. Yeah, my group has opted out for next season. Obviously, with the price increases and the pricing with the product that the Canucks are putting out, we just didn't think it was financially feasible to renew. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I'm sure even guys like Clay are probably gonna, probably not renew one of their sets at least, and maybe just cut down. I know he's got quite a few sets of season tickets, so I won't speak for him, but I wouldn't be surprised if a majority of the season ticket holders kind of opt out. But I don't think the Canucks are going to unfortunately suffer any sort of loss because, like you said, there's going to be other people on the wait list that now have the opportunity to possibly jump on. But I just think, I'll still go to games next year. Obviously, would love to see, hopefully, a McKenna in the Canucks jersey. And, but I think single game tickets are probably going to be much cheaper than shelling out a couple, grand for, season tickets. You can kind of be a bit more choosy with the games you go to next year and probably get in for a lot cheaper last minute as well. So.
Yeah, definitely. And I even saw a comment on X, someone saying, I'm not renewing my season ticket membership because of what happened to Begsy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There you go. But I definitely want to try and go to at least one more game, even though I hate to pour money into the machine, but I want to try and go to at least one more game before the end of the year. I think might actually be that last home game.
I was just about to say the last home game of the year, fan appreciation night. As a content creator yourself, just kind of document who's the last player to kind of address the crowd, and because that could be our future captain. So,
all right, Harry's asking this one: who would you rather have?
Mm-hmm.
I think we've already kind of gone over this, so I'm still on the McKenna train. So
yeah, I'm the same way. I'd much rather have McKenna, but of course, if McKenna's gone and you have no other option, and then you got to go with best player available. Go with Stenberg.
Mm-hmm.
My first choice would be McKenna.
Yeah. It still hasn't changed for me. It's still, I know earlier on in the season I was all for Stenberg, but that obviously shifted once. And now McKenna's season's officially over now. So I think he finished with what? 50 points.
Something crazy.
In 30 something games.
Something like that, yeah. So he had a pretty strong finish to his season.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Kopitar is retiring at the end of this season. So
that's another reason I'd want to go is because it's Kopitar. Not that I'm a Kings fan or anything.
Yeah.
Says the guy who has a Kings jersey. Seeing Kopitar play his last game in Vancouver would be pretty cool.
I would expect the team to do something to honor Kopitar.
Oh yeah. They'll probably do the whole thing where the team waits at the end of the game and shakes his hand. I could see them doing that easily, for sure.
The guy's had such a great career, obviously one of the prime players in the league, obviously a little older now, but he's got a lot to be proud of how he's conducted his career.
No, I'm not too confident in the Canucks' draft odds, just because of our luck.
Yeah,
I wish I was confident in it, but that's just it. It's a freaking lottery.
It's a lottery.
It's a lottery. If it wasn't a lottery and we were guaranteed first overall, then yeah, obviously.
I'm not sure if you saw Russ's stream earlier. Russ and Dusty.
I
Yeah,
hope so.
they did the lottery, and it
And
was freaking like LA and San Jose. I was just like,
LA
oh
and
my,
San Jose. Yeah, I was just like,
freaking LA wins the lottery. San Jose jumps up to second. Like, of course. So the rich get richer, you know. And I swear, if the Blackhawks get another top 2 pick, oh my
oh,
gosh,
oh, yeah,
that would be so scary. You know, Bedard, um,
yeah.
Frundell, Nazar. You know, if they, God forbid, get a McKenna or Stenberg to go with that,
I mean,
I can't
they
even
can have
begin to imagine.
Stenberg as long as we get McKenna. I'd be fine if they got Stenberg. If we got McKenna, I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. Oh man, that line would be so scary though. If it was like Bedard,
Mm.
McKenna, and Nazar,
Oh yeah.
oh, that would be so.
But yeah, that's the game, Selena. It would be the fan appreciation night against LA would be the game. Next game, I wouldn't say planning just yet because I haven't obviously gotten the tickets yet, but I would like to attend that one for sure.
That'd be a good one.
And I believe that is the same game that Rain is going to. So maybe if I do go, I can
We should maybe
go
do
and
a
see Big Brain. Go see
yeah.
Big Brain.
Maybe
Don't worry,
I'll have to look into it too. It's April.
because
When is it? 14th, 15th,
14th, I think. And keep in
14th.
mind, tickets are pretty cheap right now. I don't know
Yeah, I
if
might have to look. I
they
might.
still will.
I'll have to see. Maybe I'll
mean-
make an appearance and get a cheap ticket or something, and we'll
Yeah,
have some sort of meetup or something.
yeah, definitely. That's
I'll
sounds
meet
like a
up
great
up there.
idea. I'll be the guy wearing a paper bag.
Don't get escorted out of the building, buddy.
Yeah. Don't worry. Don't worry.
We're gonna need to confiscate your bags because we're obviously gonna sell it at the team store the same night. So, and then we'll have to ask you to kindly, remove yourself from the building in the first intermission.
Yeah, someone someone tell PJ so I can write a story.
Yeah, there we go. PJ just like now they're kicking fans out, and that's one thing I mentioned is like it's absolutely horrible with the whole banning the paper bags.
Yeah.
Right, because it's just like you should be grateful as an organization that people still want to pay money to come watch you guys when you're this horrible, right? So you look at the Whitecaps, you look at the rugby sevens, they create this atmosphere where they encourage fans to come out dressed up in costumes or to be creative with their outfits and to show you support and have fun, right?
Mhm.
So the Canucks are so soft, as an organization. Just let fans fan how they want. If they want to show up in paper bags, let them have fun and show up in paper bags, right? If you don't want them to, be sad and be, disappointed at the state of the franchise, do better as an organization. Don't give fans a reason to wear paper bags to the game. Do something legit and actually be a good team. Then, then we wouldn't even have this conversation, right? So, but until then, you should still be like, hey, we've been a shit team for a decade now, and obviously we're gonna rebuild. If fans feel like they want to show up in paper bags, it's their prerogative. They're spending the money to buy tickets and come inside the building anyways, right? It's not harming anyone. Like it's just such bad optics and PR because you don't want to be, seen in a negative light. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. I mean, it puts, if you have a bunch of fans who come in with paper bags over their head,
yep.
People are going to write about it. It's going to become a story and it's going to put eyes on your product.
Exactly. And that right now you should be honored that there's going to be eyes on your product when it's this bad. Right. So that's why I also feel like, you shouldn't be coming down on, reporters or media who's covering the team or willing to spend their, time and resources to write and cover your team. They're bringing new fans. They're bringing attention to your team. You should be proud of that. You should be happy about that. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And real quick, we're gonna wrap up. One thing I think I talked about it in a previous video. This quote that Adam Foote had. He was talking about Hronek and the fact that Hronek hasn't been practicing as much as of late. Like he's been given quite a few like maintenance days in the last couple of weeks or so. So obviously it got reporters talking and asking like, is he injured? Is he dealing with like a little bit of an issue? Because he's skipping all these practices. He's getting all these maintenance days. And Foote was like, no, he's not injured. Not that I would tell you that he was. But it's just like, dude.
stop shoving your foot in your mouth, like literally, figuratively, and literally, right? Like you're giving media more ammo.
yeah. Like he quite literally said, no, and this isn't me, saying yes that he is like confirming it. Not that I would tell you anyway. It's like the fact that he actually said that to a journalist. I forget who mentioned it. Literally, it may have been Elfrin if I'm not mistaken. Whenever there's an injury, you got an update the next fucking day.
Yeah, exactly.
Those days are long gone now. They're so secretive when it comes to injuries now. And it baffles me. It's like, it's not going to hurt you to admit that there's an injury. It's you're just being honest with your fan base.
Exactly.
I mean, we haven't heard anything about Derek Forbort all season.
All season. Day to day.
Yeah, they said day to day, like in fucking September, October.
Yeah, training camp, right? He's day to day.
And
we've never heard from him since.
Since then, no one said anything about Forbort. I mean, not that I blame reporters not for asking about him, because they probably slipped their minds.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking about it now, going like,
whatever happened to him?
Whatever happened to him? Did he like die, or like what happened? You guys haven't even brought him up. No, we haven't even seen him on the ice at all. Like for like just skating. Not a peep about him.
That is crazy. Oh.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think it's safe to say his career's done.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's done. And it's just about just be accountable and transparent with the fans.
Mm. I mean, I'm not saying it's all teams are being very secretive about their injuries. Because not all of them are. But I've noticed a lot over the last few years. People are, teams have been so secretive about injuries. Toronto is a perfect example of that. Mm-hmm. Unless it's, painfully obvious, like with Matthews.
Exactly. I mean, I don't get why teams would want to, be so secretive in general. Mm-hmm. Right? Fans across the league, are the majority of them are smart enough.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? So don't take the fans as idiots. And that's something that the Canucks do so well. They think we're idiots.
Yeah, they get an Oscar in that category.
Exactly. No one does it better than we do.
Yeah. Yeah, we're at almost 3.5 hours, and yes, I see Shuttle saying might be the longest stream I've done. No, this is not actually. I've done a 6-hour stream.
That is good.
Or at least close to 6 hours, and that was when Quinn Hughes got traded. So
big news, Dave. I guarantee you the day anything happens to Aquilini.
This is like about age when it comes to me. So
yeah, I was gonna say the day anything happens to ownership or Aquilini, that's gonna be the longest stream. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll try and that'll be like 8 hours, probably minimum.
Yeah.
At that point.
It'll be a party. It'll be a rejoicing.
Oh yeah, we'll be like, oh, it'll be like I can't,
Almost as sweet
what is
as a
this,
Stamka,
like a commercial,
possibly.
like a what was this, like a commercial or something where you're just like, oh, with the gold. I can't remember.
Exactly.
Anyway, this has been great, man. This has
It's
been
been
a lot of
awesome.
fun, considering the fact that you and I were very pissed off
Oh
earlier
man.
today about the whole Begsy thing. And hey, I said I was gonna go off about it. You obviously, went off about it. But then it's turned into, a really good, chat. We talked about Toronto, we talked
Yeah.
about the Blue Jays, whatnot. So this was a lot of fun. And like I said, the invite is there. If G can't make it on Monday, I'll obviously
Sure. Yeah,
reach out
just
to you.
keep me posted.
Yeah, I'll let you know by, well, I guess tonight because it's Sunday. So yeah, no,
All
I'll
good.
definitely let you know. You have the link. That it's always the same link, just so you know.
Cool.
Uh,
Appreciate it.
but yeah, no, this has been a lot of fun, Justin. I appreciate you. Um,
Oh
treasure
man,
your
a lot of
your
respect. A lot of respect and appreciation for you too. You're constantly grinding and putting out content and just giving people the platform and myself included just to be able to vent and
yeah,
share some of my passions and my takes and stuff like that. So like I said, even Gerald, who's probably crashed for tonight, he'll see this on the replay or something and
oh
he'll
yeah,
be like, we're still going.
yeah,
But he'll be like, I definitely want to give him a shout out too, that as your co-host, allowing me the space to come on as well and just share and have a lot of fun with you guys all the time, talking about this team, talking about the organization, or just general conversations, whether it's on topic or off topic, and just interacting with this great community in the chat. So gave a lot of shout outs to the people that were here earlier,
mhm,
SGA, Shannon popping in, Selena's still up, and Connor earlier, Alfred from Toronto, it's 5 a.m. for him. So really appreciate the efforts that he's taking to be up and interacting with us too. So with it.
a friend might have a point with this one. If Petey got traded, that
Ooh,
might be a pretty long stream.
I think it will be up there. I think it
Oh
will
yeah,
be up there. It depends on who he's traded to and what we got in return.
yeah,
So
definitely.
but
SGA, we're about 3 hours late on that. About three
that's
hours late on that for sure.
just one loss closer, SGA. Just one loss closer to the draft. So just keep them coming. It's only another handful of games to get through and suffer through, and then
Yeah,
we're all
10
looking
more.
forward to the draft. So
10 more games.
yeah,
And I think it was Dusty who said earlier, we cannot catch up to Calgary. Officially cannot
yep,
catch up to Calgary.
yep.
And, Calgary officially cannot get 32nd place.
Nope. They hold the tiebreaker, so the best we can do is tie them, but they hold the tiebreaker over us.
Yeah.
So
And I think I heard Russell say they're at, what, 70 points?
70.
Aren't we still only at 50?
We're 50.
So they're 20 points ahead of us. Yeah, I think we got 32nd place locked on lock.
Yeah, we have
20
10
points.
games left. So technically we could, tie them at 70 if they lose all their remaining games and we win our remaining games, but they still hold the tiebreaker on us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Totally.
that's not happening. We're not winning 10 of our last
No.
10 games, let alone Calgary losing all their remaining games. So
Oh yeah, they've won their last
they're
what?
5-0-1 in their last 6 or something
Yeah,
like that, I
5-0 and
believe.
won their last 6. So
So
they're doing like the reverse tank.
yeah, and apparently Calgary fans don't like that.
Yeah. I mean, again, quickly throwing
But
back to
they
Russell's
can't
stream.
be too picky though.
I-
I think they have like what 2 first rounders this year and like 4 second rounders.
No.
So
Yeah, that is
they still
crazy.
have plenty of picks to help them with their rebuild, even if they are winning at this time of year. So
Hmm. Yeah, and quick shout out to Russell getting Talking Flames on his channel. I
yeah,
posted in obviously in the chat they're obviously a part of, the Hockey Podcast Network that I'm a part of. So I actually, I had to like look it up because I couldn't exactly remember. But then I saw them on there and I was like, yeah, these guys are representing the network. So it was great to
Right.
see them on Russell's show. I always love seeing guys who are on the network. And I remember him, I think I want to say it was Ryan, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, mentioned that it's just a great group with the network. All of us it's kind of like the CCC. We're all a big community. And, just a quick shout out to the network and everything that Dylan and Kyle do for the network is absolutely, top class.
That's awesome.
I've had nothing but a great experience with it. Obviously, they welcomed me with open arms, so it's been great. So,
That's awesome. And that's what it's all about. It's, networking with, all these content creators, not just that cover the Canucks, but their local teams as well. And you really make good relationships and friendships with those people, right? And you get to know them better and their fandom as well. So,
Yeah.
we all love this game of hockey and, we all have our favorite teams and everything, but it's our love of the game. It's our love of the sport that, brings us all together as fans. So,
yeah, definitely. And just like what you mentioned, I obviously did that watch party with Jimmy.
Yeah.
Covered two teams that I don't even really cover.
There you
I
go.
did a watch party for two teams I don't even watch.
And it opens up new opportunities for you. So, that's a great thing. You build connections with these people and it could open up so many more exciting and new opportunities that you might not have ever had the chance to do, right? So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I love how we said we'd be done like 6 minutes ago, but
yeah.
anyway, it's like what Duo says, like you said you were only going to go an hour and 30 minutes. 4 hours.
We'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. Sorry, Charlotte, I'm not going live for 2 more hours. I got lots of work to do for the next couple days. So,
yep.
And plus, I should probably eat my food that's been sitting here too.
Yeah, you probably should.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm surprised you held off so long from eating on stream.
I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
But no, like I said already, this has been awesome. This has actually got me into a bit of a better mood than I was in earlier.
That's what it's all
Obviously,
about. We all need to bring each other back down, especially when this team pisses us off so much. So,
yeah, definitely, 100%, 100% on that. But
Yeah.
Justin, this has been amazing.
Thanks
This
for
has been
having me.
great.
Yep.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. Anytime you need to vent, you just let me know, and I'll give you the space.
Appreciate it, brother.
You obviously know I don't give two shits if Aquilini sees this. I know Gerald kind of touched on that earlier. Be like,
Yeah,
he's
he was
probably
like,
gonna
"Saying
see
you
this."
better watch what you say. You never know who's watching or who's spying for the Canucks." But
Yeah,
I know you're like,
I do
You take
not
care,
give
man.
two shits if if or like what Elfrin says, Aqua ass man sees this or not. If he does see this, screw you.
exactly,
You suck.
exactly. Bring it on, Kim Jong Aqua.
Yeah, you big old softy. I'm not afraid
Exactly.
of you. You can't cancel me. I don't have no press pass. I mean, so
Yeah.
I mean, even if I did have one, I'd be like, well, if you're gonna take Trevor's away here, you might as well take mine too.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So,
but
No.
but yeah, no.
but
No friend King Jong.
yeah, and your North
Why?
Korea Canucks.
Why does that make me think of Team America for some reason?
It's a good question, but no, yeah, like I said, if you guys definitely do your fact checking, like Gerald said, it's important to do your own research and not just,
Yeah.
follow blindly, be your own unique person and, make up your own mind and, see which side you support. But if you do feel the same way that we do about what the Canucks are doing to Begsy, make your voices heard, amplify it. Let's amplify it together as a community, and let's make sure that they don't do this to another junior reporter or anyone like
Yeah.
that. We're all here to defend each other, and so we have a couple of hashtags that's going out there on socials. So if you are definitely on the same page with us, not saying that you have to be, but if you're defending Aquilini, fair, you're entitled to your own takes as well, even though it might be completely different from ours. But respect for you for having your own takes. But that's just what we want to encourage, is that you be your own unique person. And if you do find yourself on the same page, just encourage you to amplify your voice and just show Begsy the love that the Canucks community have for him. So
Yeah, absolutely. And like what Alfred says, justice for Begsy. You
there
can
we
see
go.
it up top there. That's probably, like I said, that's gonna stay there for the foreseeable future. Well,
Yeah.
I'll say it right now. This is gonna stay up there until Begsy gets his press pass back.
There we
That
go.
is how long
There we
that is
go.
gonna stay. So that is
There we
my
go.
protest right there. Free Begsy, justice for Begsy. Let's get that trending.
There we go.
And it's like what Kyle and Begsy say on Locked On Canucks. One love. No. One love. No, we're all here. We're all here for Trevor.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like I said, he gets his press pass back.
Yeah.
And it's even though he's okay with it. Obviously, we're not, because we absolutely love Trevor and everything he does. It's like what
Exactly.
you said earlier. It's what Gerald said. He busts his freaking ass for this
Yeah, the
team.
guy's so committed.
He has a young family. He has a young family too.
Yeah.
So that what pisses me off even more is he has a young
Exactly.
family too.
The hours he's putting in, the sacrifices he's making, to provide this fan base with the coverage and the insights that he has all season. And, it's not easy, having a young family and everything like that, and the sacrifices he's making just to do his job, and the way he was treated and the way the situation was handled from this organization is, unacceptable. And we need to make sure that the Canucks and the organization hears it loud and, loud from all of us, that it's not just about, a press pass at the end of the day, but it's about treating people with human decency and respect. And that's the bigger message that we need to amplify out there, that, the way that they're conducting their actions has consequences at the same time. If you're, for the Aquilini defenders out there, I think this is okay. And saying, he shouldn't have been writing such negative stories about the organization or anything, and that actions have consequences. Well, same thing. Actions have consequences if you're the owner. We're entrusting you to own this team with, good stewardship, and we're going to hold you accountable to it. So,
yeah, totally. Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head with that. If you, don't want people writing negative stories, don't give them a fucking reason to.
exactly. Don't give them a negative story to write about in the first place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
We'll end it there. 3 hours
all right.
and 40 minutes. But again, like I always say, you already know, love having you on. Love your takes.
Much respect to you guys. So.
We'll definitely reach out to you about tomorrow, for sure.
Sure.
Sometime tonight. And yeah, thank you to everyone who's still here. We got like 99 people between X and YouTube. 5 on
Awesome.
YouTube, 94 on X. This has been great. Like I said, justice for Begsy. Let's get that thing trending. And obviously, Begsy absolutely loves the support, and we just want to show Trevor that we support him.
Exactly.
We're behind him. We have his back. And yeah, absolutely, BS what happened to him. And yeah, we're there for him. We're looking out for each other. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm glad you guys were able to watch this somewhat, post game, I guess it was the first 30 minutes were first 30 or 40 minutes was a post game. The rest of it was just, shooting the shit. But yeah, hey, that's what you get when you come to the line change. You get a little bit of everything with these games, man. You got Blue Jays stuff. You're talking about Toronto and whatnot, and obviously the story about Begsy. But this has been great. Hope you guys enjoyed. Of course, on your way out, hit the like and subscribe button. And make sure your notifications are turned on so don't miss more in-depth analysis of your Vancouver Canucks, even though they played absolutely they played pretty bad tonight. But obviously trying to hit that 3,000 watch hour goal. This definitely is going to help for sure. 4 hours right there. Let's go.
There we go. You're getting up there.
You know what? Screw it. We're pretty well past, like 3 hours and 40 minutes. Not a lot of people are probably going to go to this mark, even if they replay it. I did the whole AI thing, because you know how in the studio there's an AI function. Really does help me with some of my titles. Sometimes I will admit I use it for that. But I simply asked it, when do you think I'm going to hit my 3,000 watch hours? I literally asked that. I was like, when do you think and they said 2 weeks, 13 to 14 days. So April 9th, circle it on your calendar.
There you go.
I could hit 3,000 watch hours. So maybe we'll do like a big stream for that once it officially updates.
Yeah.
Once it gets to, because remember it's a week behind. So maybe a week after the 9th. So not actually the 9th, but maybe 13th or 14th or whatever. Last game of the season.
Last game of the year. Perfect timing.
Maybe we'll do something special for that. But I wanted to let you guys know that, give you guys the inside scoop on that. And yeah, we'll end it there. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.
Really appreciate it. Once again, hit that like and subscribe button on your way out the door. And we'll see you guys in the next post game.
Good night, guys.
Thanks again, Justin.